Welcome back to Memes and Markets. Keith, how are you, man? Wrong camera?
Today's the best day of my life, Ben. How about yourself?
Today's fantastic, man. We're going to be talking all about crypto, why the rest of the world is seemingly taking it very seriously all of a sudden or as of late, why that may be, how you can position yourself accordingly to take advantage of all this, and all that fun stuff. You can bounce back in if you want to fix the camera.
Yeah.
How we doing, chat, by the way? How we living? We got some legends here with us. Self-Reliance, how are you? Playboy Gungkara said, I just bailed from crypto completely. This is some pyramid scheme bullshit. As everything I've seen, it decreased by 800%. Cycles, brother. Cycles. They go up and then they go down. Let's get it, fam. How are you now? Good to see you. Good morning, my people. Good morning to you, Ryu. Good afternoon. Land of the sun. Be woo. What up?
What up,
How you
folks?
doing? You good now, Keith?
I think I'm great, actually.
That's better than good.
You know, it's fantastic. I had a had a funny moment where I recorded myself doing my best day ever thing to somebody on Instagram. I put it on Instagram. It was pretty fun to see the reactions to that.
Did it get good feedback?
Not necessarily. I mean, definitely more than anything else that I've done like that.
Cool.
I'm excited to do more of those, you know?
Yeah. I think that'll fly eventually. We had one of the first comments was really funny. It was someone who's like really mad about crypto, saying how everything's down like 800%. Which that may be a good place to start even, right? Because like what attracted the average retail investor to crypto is actually the volatility, right? So when everyone here is crying about the fact that it's down so much, it's like, that's why we're here. Like, I know it's hard to hear that. And of course you're like, this is a lot of copium and you're right. But like the only reason you can get these life-changing gains is because of the volatility. If the rest of the world wasn't looking at it like, these guys are idiots, why are they touching this? We would have no edge.
Big facts. All the edges in, I guess, being crazy and just being willing to, you know, go through that kind of pain.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, it's, and every time it gets to the point where it's like, is this even real? Like, have we lost our minds?
But that's happened multiple times before. It's like the benefit of having been through multiple cycles is that it always feels like somewhat different, but it's pretty similar in terms of everyone was writing it off, everyone was giving up. And then also the fundamentals in the background have never been this bullish. Ever, dude. Like I remember 2 cycles ago, there'd be like a hint of something maybe happening and the charts would go crazy.
Right.
It's like, yeah. Like PayPal might do merchant payments in like a few years or something like that. And then it's like
Facts. Now it's constant updates about banks getting involved in ETFs and other stuff. And it's just like, another day in the office.
We're desensitized to it, but it's worth talking about everything. Where do you want to start?
I think the big thing is the fact that now we're starting to see a major shift in the more mainstream narrative around crypto. And I think it's also worth noting that like the mainstream narrative, we're at a weird time where that exists has completely shifted. Like, what's the mainstream narrative now? I mean, honestly, it might be online. It might be outside of the traditional news sources, right?
Fantastic point. And that's also, when you look at so many combining forces, crypto is so unbelievably inevitable. If you just look at the sheer volume of debt globally, like they need some sort of tool to continue this game. Like either it becomes this or this becomes something that allows the game to continue, but either way it's involved and either way it gets used.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful framing because yeah, it's kind of, I mean, the way that I look at it, guys, don't get mad at me. It's kind of like the Bitcoin versus XRP thing. It's
What do you mean?
like does the Bitcoin just become the actual thing that usurps the entire system? It's the outside of it because the debt is so bad, you have this new system, or is XRP like this thing that revolutionizes what the
Mhm.
actual system today actually looks like and monetizes the
Got
debt?
it. I think in a perfect world for whoever's running this thing, what they would love to do is basically create this new asset class that puts a lot of money into the hands of the people who are the most broke and somehow maintains the floor of the other shit. So everyone is just the people who are really poor are just less poor.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I've thought for a really long time where I feel like they're gonna because like how else do you put money in our pockets?
This to me makes like comes back to like the whole conspiratorial thing around some of the stuff too, because it's like, where have the people who, let me just put it this way, the people who I feel like are paying the most attention to crypto are the people who really don't have as much. It's like, hey, like I need to do something, and this is like the only option.
Dude, that's such a good point. Isn't that crazy that like a broke person will touch this before someone who's rich as fuck? That's so stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, even for like tiny percentages of their portfolio.
100%. 100%. I remember 2017 just thinking about this. I'm like talking to these bankers, like these super rich people. I'm a kid and just starting university. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, you guys have the money. Like, give it to me. Like, let me take advantage of
Even a
what's going
tiny amount of
on.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Like, holy crap. But but yeah, and just think about it. Just like already so much has changed since then. But it's like it's very likely that we're still at the very beginnings of what this is all gonna look like.
Social finance is also gonna become a very interesting thing because we've been living in the attention economy for a very long time. And so anybody who understood the internet understood that we were already there because if you could capture the attention, you didn't even actually need a superior product because as long as you're the one that people knew, they bought from you, right? So like that's also happening within finance too. And I really think that there's going to be, I think Twitter will play a massive role in this, and I'm sure that there will be some sort of way to purchase or trade right on Twitter at some point.
And what did you call this? You called it social finance?
Yes,
I love that. And so does that include collectibles and stuff like that?
without a doubt, brother. I think collectibles are going to be so big, and I also think there's a lot of combining forces that are going to make NFTs have a very hated comeback because a lot of things that are happening in real time, right? Like we've already had an episode on the Pokemon. I called it a bubble. People told me that I was dumb for calling it a bubble, but I just think it has every warning sign of that. And a bubble popping doesn't mean that the market goes to zero after the fact. It just means that there's a rapid fall off and closer to maybe even under market value at that time, but the pop happens. And then I think a lot of the things that could create that bubble popping will be seen as a pro for NFTs. Because like the one thing that we talked about last night, where I'll save that for another conversation. We'll talk about more crypto first, and then we can talk about the shit later. But someone said, and on a smaller scale, meme coin trading is slowly gaining popularity. Again,
Yes.
NFTs are moving a lot, and so what gets me excited about the NFT shit, Keith, is that Robinhood is creating a lot of hype around NFTs that are at a very low price point because all of the people that were here from the NFT cycle last time, they never went anywhere, but there's no
Mhm,
trading going on, or there still is, but way less because there's no new buyers.
mhm, mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of people with money on the sidelines that when there is new buyers, they will get very active and engaged and there'll be some crazy price swings. But until there's new buyers, like they just know there's no point.
Fascinating stuff, man. I remember sort of some of the beginnings of the conversations that we were having around NFTs and like the light bulb for me happening around like you don't really like it's because I'm so far outside of that game. But I remember
Mhm.
in 2021 or whatever it was when it was East Summer, DeFi Summer, and I think that was the first time that like, well, I mean, this was the biggest part of the mania for NFTs as well. And like I just remember people who just had like thousands of ETH, like people who
Mhm.
just bought ETH back when it
Bro,
was just play money,
pennies. Yeah.
and those are the guys, right, who are bidding up the prices of all of these NFTs, and those guys besides what's his name? Crypto banner guy. Is that him? No, no, no. Who is Bankless? Besides Bankless, all those guys are still there.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, so for context, Bankless runs, I think, what was the biggest ETH podcast. Now they've just become a more general podcast. And his whole thing was owning a CryptoPunk. And so for a lot of people who aren't aware, CryptoPunks are like the best comparison I have at the top of my head, like the Banksies of NFTs, basically. Like there's and also guys, like why it's inevitable, why NFTs come back is because the people that are leading this transition, they're also still very active within the NFT world. They go look at how many CEOs have their profile picture as a punk.
Mm.
Like, if
Just
you
think about
buy,
that.
bro, it
That's
is one of the most.
crazy.
People will call me crazy for this, but if you actually know anything about business, that may be the most underpriced asset on the planet. A punk for 60K, because if you buy that, you instantly have a networking pass to billionaires.
You can go up to them as an equal.
Yes, like that is worth so much money that people just simply aren't understanding. And also, there's a lot of NFT projects that NFT people have been getting clowned on, crypto people have been getting clowned on. So when the money does come back, they're going to want to we're going to want to make it a bigger joke. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like it's always been that. And so the fact that it's going more, like they'll get more amped up. They'll throw more money at it.
Mm, no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, like the people that are in the room with the punks, Brian Armstrong, like people like Vlad Tenevs of the world, like,
Bro,
bro, they could sweep the floor yesterday, bro.
whenever, bro. And so all these people, and then people really need to grasp this. I keep saying the same shit because it's so important. Guys, look what's happened since the last time NFTs ran. Like, stop listening to everyone on the internet that's telling you, like, this will never come back. This was so stupid. It's like, look around at how many things are stupid. Like, seriously, stop for a second. Like, why does anything have value? Okay. And then what's the actual reason something has value, right? So let's say collectibles and trading cards. Do any of those things have value? Bro, like, even the people that will say, oh, nostalgia, that's horseshit. Most of the people that are buying them are traders, dude. Like, they don't care. Most of them didn't even play Pokemon, man. So now when you look at like what causes the prices to go up and down, the NFTs are just so more efficient to do that. And there's way less liquidity, meaning the prices can move so fast.
There was something you said about that. I think it was last night that also really clicked for me around
The
uh
PSA shit.
that piece for sure. And yeah, I think it was about that and like the efficiency of that. Like, where's the pricing mechanism coming from? Who's setting the prices? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Totally. So within traditional collecting, and this is all ties back to crypto, but collectibles have been one of the most emerging markets over the last 5 to 10 years. And it's crazy, like the amount of price appreciation. And I started collecting NFTs and the physical collectibles around the same time. And I actually devoted more of my time and attention and money to NFTs because I felt longer term I'd have more of an edge there. Dumb in hindsight. I should have played this physical stuff first and then, but whatever. Hopefully the information will come back to me. But the physical collectibles kept going up and up and up and up and up. And so now people who have been collecting sports cards and Pokemon cards, they've become very well off. But how that whole ecosystem works is that almost anything to be traded at a really high volume or like high price point, it's got to be graded. And so there's these companies that grade the quality of the card, and they're typically on a scale of 1 through 10. And those numbers have a very strong correlation to what the market price is for that card.
Think
So
about it like getting your diamonds appraised or getting your
totally,
watch checked out to see if it's real or not.
totally. But here's the problem with that is that if it's in the hands of basically one company, which it more or less is, they've purchased up brands underneath and they're currently going through a monopoly case because they've bought
Wow.
in so many of these brands.
Wow.
But think of the power they have, Keith. When you send me your card, I charge you a cost, and then I dictate what this leaves my room as for the cost, right? Because if I rate it as an 8, which is I'm a human being choosing this. They have a criteria, but at the end of the day, it's a human being making this decision. And there's been a lot of graders coming out recently, basically saying like, I just ripped through this shit. Everything's a 9. Like again, who knows if that's true, right? I'm sure there's a bit of people jumping on, maybe former employees, whatever. But the the logic is still there, right? Where it's a human being grading this, and their decision will make this slab of cardboard be worth 2 grand or 100, and they're deciding that over the next 5 minutes
Mm.
or 20 minutes, whatever it is they spend per card. That's a crazy thing. That's so much power in a centralized entity where this company is having so much influence over the broader market of what these things go for. Whereas NFTs, the pricing mechanism is the market. So of course, you don't have the amount of people buying and selling that you do on something like Pokemon cards, but you also don't have that super strong central force of someone like PSA dictating what the thing is worth. Because if there's a card, you have to then get it graded. The NFT is the NFT. There's only so many of them, and you also don't have to worry about the reprinting, right? So people don't know this too. If you're not following the Pokemon shit, they just opened this massive facility to meet demand for Pokemon cards, and they're gonna be printing way more.
Wow.
And the craziest shit too here is this is how I know it's a freaking bubble. And I hope the guy is watching who keeps giving me shit for that. If this is what you're telling me it is, how is the new shit going up more than the vintage shit?
Mm,
That makes no sense. Zero. If this is what you're telling me, it's the nostalgia, it's all this crap, how are new prints going up prices faster than the vintage stuff?
that puts a dead end on that one.
That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. And so I still think if I was holding Pokemon cards now, I'll say it for like the fifth time, I would be selling some because it can come down and pop really quickly because these people don't have the conviction that you think they do. They have the conviction to the money that they were making.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to think about how there's this external force of PSA as well that can like technically end that narrative overnight.
Totally.
Like as soon as PSA gets convicted of some sort of fraud, like
Totally.
the end.
What's every grading now worth? Like that's now gonna be tarnished, at least short term. And all it takes is a little bit of a drop for a steep drop to happen because guys, like, and also I know that this smells like this because I lived through the NFT cycle, right? And so now I go and study all of the Pokemon collector creators. And one thing you can follow is the social trend graphs. Like there's just too many eyeballs there learning how to make money, which means they are making money. That's a red flag there too, in terms of like how many people are doing this, but also like the way that they're speaking.
Mm,
It's just such a red flag because it's like it's so reminiscent to me of the NFT market in like 2021, where like the things they're saying and how they're talking about the prices and how things are moving. And I'm like, oh, you guys don't have a clue because a lot of these guys have never actually experienced a cycle. And so they're all bought into
that's
this
true.
narrative that this IP, because of how big it is, it's not a bubble. It can't go down. It's been around for 30 years. Everyone loves it. It's like that can be true, and this can be a bubble. Like they're not mutually exclusive. Those things can operate at the same time. And I personally think they are. So will there ever be a 0 point for Pokemon cards? No, of course not. But can they be dramatically overpriced? Yes, and I think they currently are.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me back to 2021 also with the luxury watch thing that was going on.
That was
It's like,
huge.
yeah, like a Patek Philippe is trading at 250 or $400,000 when they retail at 50 or 30. And it's like, yeah, that's cool for now. And then eventually what happened is the prices of them have collapsed. And yes, they're limited pieces. You can't make more of them. But even then, in that case, where they are actually limited pieces, the prices will come back down in reality at some point.
I think that's the entry point to the collectors into the crypto world, right? So if you do start to see like a tank of Pokemon cards, I think the topic of like, oh, you got to diversify your collectibles portfolio because these people literally see collectibles like an investment portfolio, right? And so why is that any different where the average investor feels they need to put a certain amount towards crypto? Why would that be any different for collectibles?
Mm,
It wouldn't
mm.
be, right? They're gonna put a small percentage to it. So what my thesis right now is I'm trying to front run that inevitability, right? So I'm trying to go to looking at all of the demographics of people who love Pokemon cards, who's made the most amount of money over the last 5 years that now sees themselves as a professional collector, and what projects or NFT companies, whatever, will they be the most inclined to go towards? And if you do your research, there's some obvious ones that Pokemon people will like. And you can go there, be parked there for when they come.
I feel like you might have talked about this once before, but like there's definitely an opportunity for like a not a grader, but a rater, like the S&P ratings agency of NFTs.
Yeah, or we're trying to get on the guy who built, Fake World Assets because his
Oh yeah.
idea is sick, but I literally had the exact idea, man, like, almost to a T. I sent Keith a voice note, I'm like, "We could build this
Plenty.
thing, but it is kinda gambling-like, so I don't really want to." So so we didn't, and he did, but it's a very cool concept, and yeah, 'cause the problem is right now is that most people don't have the relationship to these things, and I think the average person would still be shocked at the floors that have been maintained 5 years later. Like, most
Mm,
people would say, you couldn't sell, an NFT for 5 cents today. They would think that, right?
true.
I sold an NFT, people are selling NFTs for very large multiples of ETH during a bear market,
Mm,
right? Like, it still is a thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the average person would be like, "No, there's no such thing." Go to OpenSea right now and go look at the amount of transactions that are taking place and what these things still go for. Like, I'm looking at,
that's so
VFriends right now
wild.
as an example. VFriends floor is 1.67 ETH right now, okay? It's 1.67 ETH. And is that, like, uber liquid? Of course not. Like, there's not, like, hundreds of them selling a day, but there's, like, a few every single day. And even Gary, so Gary has Gary buys his own project, right? Because and that's not an unfamiliar thing, even in the stock world. Like, if you feel like your stock is underpriced, you'll
True.
do a buyback, right?
Yeah.
That's conviction in what I'm building, right? So people will give him shit for that, but it's like that happens in business, period. And so he's constantly buying back more and more and more. And so then that creates a bid on the floor as well. So anyone who's new to NFTs, the floor is just what is the cheapest price that I could currently buy one for that is listed? Because an NFT is only for sale if the current owner lists it for sale. So if theoretically, if someone were to come in and buy all of the stuff off the floor, then the price goes into discovery mode and it becomes a game of chicken of like, when is someone willing to sell? Do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
for,
mhm.
so for, and then I want you to take this back to crypto because I don't think anyone gives a shit about NFTs yet. But so for example, a, a, where's this? I'm trying to find USD because no one cares about Canadian dollars. Um, so why can't I find this? United States dollar. There we go. So a VFriend right now's floor is $3,194.
Hmm.
People would not believe that.
That's
You
crazy
know,
to think
what I'm
about for
saying?
sure. Yeah. Like that's a different world, right? Because like just think about that. Like who's got 3 racks to just drop on a JPEG? You know, it's not a JPEG, but still like on
It,
a
it still is.
NFT on the internet. You know what I mean?
Way more people than people think, though, and also you don't need that many people.
That's the only point I'm making is like these transactions are happening. Whether you're a part of the mainstream conversation or not, like these
Yeah,
transactions are actually happening.
and you wouldn't buy it, sure, but how many of these people have made their money through online, and the people they care to impress are also online?
Yeah, I, I do think there's enough. I mean, it's just so fascinating to think about the whole profile picture thing. It's like, dude, like I wouldn't have thought anything of that until you brought it up before, because it's just like I just don't think of it like that. Because first off, the people who are looking at his profile, they don't know necessarily that that's what's going on, but the people who do, and the people who have do, and so it just becomes a whole kind of
That
club.
that's the same as any luxury asset, though, right? Like the only
Facts.
person who knows your watch is expensive is people who care about watches. Right?
Hmm.
So it's the same sort of premise. But now, like, if I have to have a whatever watch on my wrist for the person across from me, I have to be across from them, right? Whereas now I can do this anywhere in the world. Huge
Totally.
advantage. So Tux, love this question. Ben, have you done the mental journey on how you can see NFTs be relevant, have sustained relevance in real life? I feel like if there's no agreed platform where everyone can see it, it becomes a hard sell. So fair point, but I think almost everything's going to become cross chain, and I think that just like in the real world, right? People primarily go to eBay to buy these kinds of things, but there are other marketplaces too. And I'm sure it'll be the exact same kind of thing online. And then the other thing too, you have to remember here, man, is that these are really IP businesses, right? If we're entering the attention economy, these NFT projects have had 5 years of extra experience and lessons from trying to stay relevant in the attention economy versus all of these businesses that are just realizing they're in the attention economy.
Mm.
And they were just given AI, meaning the cost of development and content creation have plummeted. So they've had all these ideas for the last 5 years that they couldn't execute on because they didn't have the dollars or the people. Now the costs are so much lower.
Mm. Fascinating. And the reframing of this as an IP business is super important because when you look at the people who are doing this the best, right? Like that's what they've been focused on. It's video games, it's cartoons, it's like things like that that change what the business actually is and how you get people to join this community.
Communities, or you say cult? Um, Community is actually a very important word too, though, Keith. That was because that was one of my other points that really solidified, like, oh, this is inevitable. Is that so many people are starved of community, and there's not many other items that you can purchase where you instantly get that.
Mm,
Let's say you buy a T-shirt because you want to be part of a community. You've got to find other people that know what that is. You can't instantly
facts.
get connected, right? I brought this story up so many times, but when I was at Vid Summit, and there was this guy there who was trying to connect with all of us other YouTubers, and he kept talking to everyone and be like, "Don't worry, I'm chill. I'm a punk." And I was like, I wasn't like that deep into NFTs yet, so like it didn't even clock to me. I'm like, What are you talking about? You're a punk." I'm like, "Oh no, sorry." He said he's an ape, which
Word,
is
word.
Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. And I was just like, sorry, what was that? Come again?" He's like, "Oh no, I own a Bored Ape." And I was like, "Oh, so like you think that gives you like status?" I was like, "Cool." I'm like, "Wow, okay, people will pay for this."
Such a fascinating example of what this can look like. Um, but yeah, I mean, in all of this is 100%. So the thing that I want to double down on that you said earlier, though, to connect the piece of like the difference between the physical collectibles and the NFT business on the pricing mechanism piece, like because there's no third party that's saying this is worth this, da da da. It's purely what people are buying and selling it at, and purely what kind of the collective of the people who are able to throw that kind of money around are thinking about and what they care about. And so it just becomes a totally different pricing mechanism that and it's also so much smaller and it's so much verifiably smaller. And so and it's honestly, it's just got such a higher barrier to entry, which is kind of a good thing in some ways, because now you don't have the people who have no idea what's going on participating in the pricing
Yes.
mechanism.
Yes. Honestly, I think that people hating on it is kind of marketing for the people who will buy it.
That's fair.
Why do
That's
people who
super
buy
fair.
dumb shit buy dumb shit? It's to say, "I can, you can't."
That's real, bro. That's
So
real.
also, oh shit, what was I gonna say? It was the video game piece here. So I also think that video games are such a natural place for this. And I do it's also like there's so many converging forces that make this shit so unbelievably inevitable. And I think the current NFT projects will be seen as like antiques eventually. Do you know what I'm saying? As like more, even if they fail, they'll be like moments of time, being like one of the first projects that actually went and did anything. What up, Lucas? Because
Yo.
they're gonna be NFTs, the technologies, maybe they rebrand the name because it's so hated, but I also think that like everything is hated until it's not. So you could just let time do its thing. But it's gonna be part of like every video game. And also AAA companies that make games have never been more hated, Keith. Like people absolutely hate them because
Mhm.
they've been extracting. And I personally think they've been extracting because they know that in the world of AI, their moats are drying up. And so they're like, we need to squeeze and siphon off as much money as we can before these smaller teams that are passionate come in and kick our ass.
That's super real. Oh, I'm losing my point that I had here, but it's definitely about this video game piece and the NFTs. Oh, I was gonna say, kind of, this might sound crazy,
Hit me
but
with it.
the same way that like everyone's trying to figure out, like, okay, what is blockchain actually used for? Like, what's the point of this thing? And so far, like I was on a plane, I think I was leaving Canada to go to New York, and I talked to this like engineer guy, like super smart guy, and he was like, "Oh, I believe in stable coins, but I don't know about that Bitcoin thing. That Bitcoin thing is a scam." I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever. We can settle on that. I'll let you have that point because it's true. Stablecoins are the first use case outside of Bitcoin that have made this something that can be had as a mainstream conversation. You
Totally.
can send money across borders near instantly for cheap. You can't argue or deny the value proposition of that. Honestly, when I really think about it, I think NFTs might be the first major true crypto use case.
Totally. We
Honestly.
bro, people need to go look at how, because if you're not a gamer, you don't live in this world, and if you are a gamer, the NFT world has been villainized to you, right? So everybody has these layers of bias where I don't give a shit what you call it. How much money are you currently spending on dumb virtual in-game shit? It's a
Facts, though.
multiple billion-dollar industry. Whether you call it a collectible, a downloadable, NFT, I don't give a shit. You paid for it.
Mhm.
And
That's
so
real.
now this actually like this benefits the players so much where the AAA companies, they might not be quick to adopt this until forced to, because it does put the power back in the players, right? Back in the hands of the players. Because if I buy the item, like let's say the Ultimate Team card, which I've shit on EA a lot, right? If that's an NFT, like now they can't say, "Oh, we have to reset it every year." Do you get what I'm saying? Like that
Totally.
excuse completely goes away. And so now there's kind of like pressure on you to be like, "Hey asshole, I bought Messi last year. Why do I got to buy him again?" Right?
Yep.
So that becomes a very big game changer where so we're building an IP business within the M&M ecosystem for our NFT project where I eventually want to do some shit. We'll see what happens with it. But like from day one, we'll be thinking like this, Keith, right? Like what kind of advantage does that give to us in terms of initial spreaders, aligned incentives of the game, of the players of our game and shit like that? Yes, yes, yes. It can help with player retention. Yes, yes, yes.
$100%.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, now you can like have people within your ecosystem and all the new transactions that get to take place within that. Like it's
Keith, think of everything
yeah.
that we're building, right? Like if you want to have the aligned incentives for people who like want multiple things, an NFT gives you the opportunity to do that,
Mm,
right? Because the promise of the NFT was always like, okay, you also get additional utility, but people didn't have the means, the know-how, the connections to build the things that gave you additional utility,
that's
right?
real.
Now, every app that we build, if we decide to make it associated with the NFT, you could build in perks that are verifiable through the ownership of the NFT,
Right.
right? So like it can get pretty crazy.
And that was the one thing that Gary Vee did do differently, right?
Yes.
Because he had the restaurant thing. I don't know if they still do that or not.
I don't know. I think he might still do that. He doesn't really talk about it.
But
What up,
but like
Abs?
that was when I was like, what up, Abs? That's when I was like, okay, somebody's actually doing this right. Like someone's actually understanding what you can do with this tech.
He also Gary gets. I've never seen Gary get shit on more than in like the last, it's like since the NFT thing. But the thing is like he's so good at being early that being wrong looks the same as being early until it actually happens. And we've also never had more angry everyday people, right? And so if Gary's the guy who is like doing well, anybody who's not doing well, he's the problem. He's the enemy, right?
Totally.
So because he also did the whole, which I do think this will come back. I think this will change, and I think people will really gravitate towards what he's doing because his whole brand is trying to fight that, right, with the positive things. But he also
Mhm.
did when you buy the NFT, because he always gets shit on for this too. And they definitely did some shit where I was a little bit like, I wouldn't have done that. But like a lot of the stuff they did was like not as bad as everyone talks about it. Like when you bought the NFT, you also got a ticket to his event
Mm.
through the, like if you held the NFT, it was a ticket to the event, right? So people look back at
Fire.
it and they're like, he charged $3,000 for these NFTs. It's like he, if they were going to the event anyways, and it was going to cost around that, the NFT was basically free.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally. And then
So
he could, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's how you're supposed to use it, like to actually provide real. You can also use it to provide real world benefits and real.
totally
It's a product, right? And it can become an ongoing service. And there was one guy in Miami. He had a really cool project, and it was like a networking thing.
cool.
And so if you owned it, you would go to the events, and it was all cool. You didn't have to pay to get in. It was a vibe.
Bro, you tell me that like Soho House and shit like that won't eventually do
Oh
shit like
man.
this? Like,
Oh
come
man.
on.
Just and then so Tux and Tool back to you. It's like as soon as those types of players get in the game, it's
Sorry.
over. Like they will create these in-person experiences that are untouchable.
It's you need why I think GTA does this is because there are some brands and IPs that even if the headlines say it's ass, millions of people are going to do it, right? And then the experience is improvement is just undeniable, where it becomes a no duh. And then you stop hating on it because the headlines used to be NFTs went for this much money, and you finally get it.
Hmm. um, what am I gonna say? Yeah. Oh, and another piece about the video game thing that we talked about once before, but I want to make sure anyone who didn't hear this understands this. Saudi wealth fund and Jared Kushner's affinity finalized a $55 billion EA Sports deal. This was a few weeks back, a couple weeks back, August 5th.
Mm,
So EA, massive Electronic Arts is the massive. sports game sort of conglomerate, and Jared Kushner and them are in on the deal.
Lovely.
So, you know, just a little bit of extra, I guess, context around this, because these guys are not strangers to crypto and what you can do with blockchain. In fact, that network of people, if we may, right, people
Yeah.
that are close to the president of the United States, they're kind of
Yeah.
invested in that world being something that works out.
Fantastic point. There's some great stuff in the chat that I want to touch on before we
Let's see.
transition away from NFTs. So, Ab said NFT culture is very difficult to market in this state of the economy. When bull market comes and people are chasing opportunity, I think there will be a resurgence, but it will be short lived. All speculation. You can make that argument for anything in crypto. I personally think, but I don't completely agree with like the fact that it will be as short term as people think, because I think it'll just become an extension of the collectibles market. So unless you think collectibles are going away, period, I don't think it'll be as like boom and bust instantly as it was before, because I think people will understand it. Because also the tokenized physical, like real world assets of collectibles is also normalizing this behavior. Like we talked about, you brought it up, or it was on the sheet an episode or two ago, like the crypts. What was it called again? Where you could buy Pokemon cards on Solana, something like that. I'm forgetting what it
Oh
is.
yeah, I know what you're talking about though. I don't
So
remember what it's called.
when most of these people are buying to speculate, like, and that is the game of collecting, I just think that'll become very normalized behavior. And this is actually super funny too from Abs as well. I bought the Nelk NFT and ran into Steve Will Do It in Miami, and he apologized. That's so awesome, dude.
What'd you say to him? What'd you say to him, Mavs? You
Yeah, I
straight up
gotta hear
ran up
that.
on this dude.
Okay, but like, you also got to think about whose NFT are you buying, right? Like, come on. Like, I know they were super hot and stuff, but I actually have a funny story where I because the Nelk guys are in Canada. They're born like right near me. I was one of their first like 30,000 subscribers, and they used to come party at my college town.
Wow.
And I saw Kyle at our college bar that I used to bounce at, and I went up to him and I'm like, "Hey Kyle, like I love your stuff." This was when he was still like small. Like they were like 30K. He's like, "I'm not Kyle." I'm like, "You're such a
Interesting.
douchebag." So then I was like, "Okay, I'm not buying anything Nelk touches," because I couldn't believe that. You're gonna big dog your first 30,000 subscribers?
Wait, so it was like, "I'm Nelk?" Like, I don't understand. I'm not
No,
Kyle?
I did a poor job of explaining that. Okay, so I knew he was the guy from Nelk named Kyle. I went
Okay.
up to him and I was like, "Hey, Kyle, like, I love your stuff. I love Nelk." And I guess he wanted me to, like, get out of his way. So he's like, "I'm not Kyle."
Oh, okay. He just was just not wanting
Just be a
to have that attention or whatever at the
yeah,
moment.
I don't know, man. To me, crazy. If anyone's ever come up to me, I'm like, "Yo, what up? Appreciate you coming up." But for him, he wasn't Kyle. So that left a bad taste in my mouth for Nelk, but, I'm sure they're doing great. But I want a McDonald's NFT that'll give me 50% off McChickens for life or give me access to the dollar menu again. That's another thing too, dude,
Dude,
is
that's a
that
good one, actually.
that's a really good idea, because if you look at these, like, fast food restaurants, a lot of them now, they really only give you perks if you use their app, right? So
Mhm.
they're already familiarized with trying to reward the people that go direct to consumer via an online means. Like, I have the Tim Hortons app here. I don't even really like Tim Hortons, but they have the reward experience, and so I use it
Mhm.
more frequently, for now. And so why wouldn't they sell like a pass like that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's actually like the perfect you need to go and run that by them. Like, buy the NFT, get access to the dollar menu again. How many people would love that just to say that they have access to the dollar menu? You know what I mean? Like, the dollar menu is actually a dollar menu again for me, bro. Like, y'all are complaining, but nah, like,
That's fantastic marketing.
I
That's
think
some
that's
great
great.
UGC. So Abs, so I showed him I owned the NFT, and he literally goes, "I'm so sorry." 'Cause well, they were on one at that time, right? Like, that was probably their top of popularity, and so I bet you they believed the things that they were saying they were going to do with the NFT, but they didn't have the wherewithal to understand that if you are a media-based business, there's ebbs and flows, especially when you're doing this kind of shit that they're doing. So their ability to effectively run gyms and all of these things, like, there's just no way. Everything's harder than they could possibly have realized.
Oh, that's also just like a very Miami interaction as well. Like, you run into the guy that low key kind of scammed you a little bit. Like, yo, man, like, Aren't you that guy?
That's so good.
Oh god.
Good on you for showing him that, Abs. That's freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's so good, dude.
But yeah, so I don't even know where to go from there, man. That's awesome. But I guess the other thing, we were supposed to be chatting a little bit on like all these platforms now talking about this stuff, right? So the biggest one was Stephen Bartlett himself with Diary of a CEO.
Mhm.
He had on Michael Saylor. It's also interesting how the characters have changed throughout some of this too. Like before Michael Saylor,
Mhm.
I mean, it was hard to say that there. It kind of was like Vitalik. I think was kind of like the major like crypto character, if
I
you
would say
may.
so. Yeah. Well, 'cause you have to get the nerds first,
Certainly, what was captured there.
right? The character is gonna be whoever's not there yet, right? Like, who would they look up to? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That they
that's
can
true.
get, because you can't jump right to getting non-nerds with this shit. You gotta put up, like, the smartest, like, most crazy genius guy ever and make him the spectacle.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was pretty much. I think it was pretty much Vitalik. I mean, and that's on the ETH side, but the ETH side was also the more fun, fancy thing, right? Like, so whenever NFTs and DeFi summer's happening, it's Vitalik and a little bit of Sergey Nazarov, but like no one really knows Sergey still. I don't think people really know who that is.
Do you think he'll become really relevant as Chainlink continues to expand, or does he wanna stay in the shadows?
I think it'll be inevitable for him, if we're being super real, because he's gonna be on stage with like the Larry Finks. I mean, he already is,
Yeah,
really.
that's what I mean. It's kinda shocking to me how little the mainstream crypto investor knows who he is.
That's true. That's super true. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's able to maintain that. He definitely knows how to orate as well. So at some point, yeah, like how has he stayed off of mainstream news? Like I don't think he's done like any CNBC or any MSNBC or anything like that.
If so, very little.
Yeah. Um, and I guess you could say some of the same stuff for Charles, but even like even Sergey does like the crypto specific ones. Like I think he'll do CoinDesk, Cointelegraph.
Mhm.
But I don't know that he really does it. I don't know how he's able to do that. It might be just a priorities thing where it's just like I'm literally in the room with presidents. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
And
don't
I'm
need
just
to
like,
be on
I'm
your
not doing
show.
that.
Totally fair.
But yeah,
And
it's an interesting one.
there's a Chainlink connection to FWA as well. Fake World Assets
Okay.
Fund, I think it is, which is that I didn't explain it, so apologies for being confusing again. So F another reason why NFTs have gone away is because there wasn't really anything to do with your NFTs, especially during a bear market. So everyone's just holding on to their shit, hoping that something changes, right? And so now that the AI tools have come such a long way, people are able to take a swing at trying to build things. And one of the biggest initiatives that is currently getting a ton of attention within crypto Twitter is called FWA, which stands for Fake World Assets. So it's kind of a play on the whole real world asset things and the connection to NFTs. So really clever name. It's FWA.fun, and I'll share my screen here. So essentially what it is like more or less like a slot machine kind of thing. Can you see my screen, Keith?
Yes, sir.
So you put in, and I'm probably going to butcher the specifics, so we'll clip this up, and anyone who knows this better than me, please explain. But basically, what you can do is you can put forward your NFT into the overarching pool, and then you also have to back it with a certain amount of ETH. Okay, based on all the things that are within the pool, dictates how much it costs to purchase a spin. Okay, and then obviously dictating the price will dictate the chance, right? So the odds of you pulling this punk if you were to play are incredibly low, right? At 0.00000. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
through doing this, he's earning rewards. So as someone pays to play this game, he gets a percentage of it, and he's probably getting the largest percentage of it because I don't know how it actually specifically works, but he's getting money basically to have it in here for the chance of losing it. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
So now
Interesting.
yeah, so now you're creating some utility to hold it. Of course, there is the chance that you could lose it, but you could also make a ton of money and no one takes it, right? So
Wow.
there's gambling mechanics here, which obviously not the best, but it is like it's what people want, right? And the last piece they've got to crack here is making it more content friendly. Like if you make this more streamer friendly and figure out a way to make it more ongoing. And the thing that I had said to you, Keith, because I had an incredibly similar idea to this, was that you have to create the connection to the IP quickly, right? Like you've
Mm,
got to sell them on the values and the additional things that you get in the community in an interactive way to increase the chances that you want to keep it. Because right now, if you pull it, you can instantly sell it back for I think 85% of whatever the backing was. So you get ETH
Mm.
right away, and then you can play again.
Oh, wow. So that's how they keep people going.
Yes.
Wait, so wait, yeah, yeah. So you get, let's say you, oh, hold on, let me make sure I understand. You
Mhm.
pull a punk,
Okay.
and the value of that is whatever the floor is.
So I think it's dictated by their backing. So I think like you have to put up the NFT and you also put the ETH backing.
Oh,
Okay. And so I think
oh,
that mechanism there is because then you should like appropriately price what it is actually worth. Because is it fair to say that you should have to list at the price? Because what happens if it's a diamond punk, let's say, right? Like that's worth a lot more than or an alien punk, whatever, like than like a generic one. Do you get what I'm saying? So like it wouldn't make sense to list it at the floor because that's not what that actually would be worth. It's like a far rarer item.
right.
Do you get what I'm
Yeah, that
saying?
wouldn't work.
So
Totally.
they're still tweaking with these specific things to get it right. But this is very popular right now. This is kind of the belle of the ball on crypto Twitter right now, especially within the whole NFT world and ETH world.
And so you put up the 85% to say there's something here. Like there's
So
something real here.
so the 85% mechanism is if I pull him, I can either take the NFT or 85% of I think what the backing was.
But
I,
the person who's providing the NFT is the one who's providing that backing.
yes, you have to do both.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I probably butchered a lot of these things, so please, everyone correct me, but, like, I was doing a bit of research on this last night to try to understand because I figured we probably would get here in this combo. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's super fascinating thoughts there for sure. And I mean, oh man, I can see how that would be something that could get a lot of eyeballs. But yeah, you're right. It's like the person has to understand that like this matters, for the average everyday person to participate, that is. But yeah,
Eventually long term, and also because that creates additional value to the NFT project to wanna put in theirs potentially into that pool, right? If there's a chance of an experience taking place from every one who were to pull one of their cards, which he's basically said that's kind of already happened, where he's like, yeah, there's some people who found out about NFT projects that would have never found out about them because they pulled the card from the pool, right? So they're
wow.
still very early, and I'm sure they'll refine this experience to do all the
That
things that I'm saying. I'm sure they'll pull it all off. He does seem pretty into it. So we'll see how it goes. I've also reached out to him to try to get him on the show. So hopefully we'll have the founder of FWA on here pretty soon. So Sam the Ram says, how are NFTs any different from digital rips websites, Pokemon like BoxGG, etc.? They just use new people as liquidation events. Most people know that it is a scam. People lose thousands of dollars daily. I don't think that we're saying that it is like that different per se. I think the differences would come down to the scarcity elements of it, right? Whereas, because if it's part of a specific project, like you can't just go change and add more to them. So like you pretty strongly know the amount that are in circulation for one. But yeah, I think it's quite similar to the collectibles market and how all of that functions. And there's crazy amounts of demand for it. And I do think that NFT solves some of the problems that are still currently there in the collectibles market.
What up, Jay Heron?
What up?
How
What
you
up?
doing? How you doing? Yeah, we'll talk about that piece a little bit later. Um, Back to this idea of like who are the figures in the room
Yes, please.
and where were they at? So first off, from also looking at like who is in control of the mainstream narrative. I came into the game in 2017. The world, it's crazy to think about it, but like things were very different back then. Like I remember CNBC talking about Bitcoin. And obviously, everyone who's been around, it's a massive scam. Like, why is this thing going up? It's a huge bubble, da da da. Every time, especially when the prices are up, right? That's when it's always a big problem. And they were the ones who completely controlled the mainstream narrative, especially for the older person. But also, it had encapsulated the whole thoughts of you and I, like the people who were in the game. Like, what's CNBC saying about crypto? Like, are our figures on CNBC? Because if so, that legitimizes us at that point in time. I don't even know where Stephen Bartlett was at that time, but like,
What
how different was that world?
night and day? Because a lot of the people that say they would never buy, support, or use crypto. They only say that because the people that they look to for their opinion, they think they'll never say it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they're like, the guy that I
Facts.
look to for my opinion, like, let's say, Dave Ramsey's not a great example, but, like, let's say a lot of people who look up to him and, like, that's who they purely put towards making all of their financial decisions, basically. Like, they're like, "What would Dave do?" If Dave gets to a point where he's using this shit and he says he's using this shit, then all of a they turn on a dime too, right? And do I think Dave will ever do that? No. Again, horrible example. But a lot of people who most people would think would never are gonna kind of be forced to.
100%. And for my quick research here, Diary of a CEO didn't even exist at that point in time.
What year were you saying?
2017.
Yeah, yeah. I, I think he started that seriously around like 2021.
Yeah, I found that. Oh, well, technically, the first episode was released in 2017, September 29th, 2017. Wow.
It was like a solo pod, I think, right?
But yeah, it wasn't on YouTube yet either, right? So it wasn't even a YouTube thing until 2019 is when they first launched video on YouTube. So, I mean, but now, right? Like this is a massive media platform.
Dude, one of the biggest in the world.
One of the biggest por todo mundo, ladies and gentlemen. And now people like him are talking crypto.
Yeah.
And one other thing we were actually thinking about this recently, Ben, is like, what about Joe Rogan? Like, why hasn't he had any people on? But then we realized, or at least I was like, yo, the guy who was like the OG guy, technically it was Vitalik, I think, because he was just so much more mainstream and had like a different level of like respect, right? Like he made Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one guy who was still out there, like basically just as an evangelist. There is no creator of Bitcoin. So this guy couldn't be that. But Andreas Antonopoulos was one of the OG cypherpunk manifesto pushers back in the day. And so it turned out that when we looked, Andreas Antonopoulos has been on Joe Rogan 3 times. And so that was fascinating to think about because that was 12 years ago, twice 12 years ago.
Like very close back to back.
And then once again 9 years ago. And that's a stream, by the way, too. I'm just now seeing that piece.
It was live.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess so. But first off, these are very low views. I don't know, maybe for that time frame, it wouldn't have been that low. But it's crazy to think that, somebody was on Joe Rogan for 3 hours, 3 times, talking about just Bitcoin, because that's the only thing that the guy really talks about.
Mm-hmm.
I can see here it says he serves as the chief security officer of blockchain. Oh, okay, of the company. I was about to say, like, what does that even mean? But no, okay. Blockchain.
But I still struggle to, and maybe this will turn on a dime, but for all the things that Joe does talk about, it's just kind of shocking to me that this isn't like an obsession of his.
Some people were calling him out recently again too. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's kind of tied. Oh, it was that video you sent me last night. It was tied back into the teal connections and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh no, it was on Twitter. It was like somebody's like, Joe he knows everything about every single conspiracy.
Yeah.
When it comes to like this stuff, silent. Nothing.
Recently he said, I still don't get that crypto stuff, basically, like the Bitcoin stuff. Man, for how many, I'm very hard pressed to believe that unless it's intentional, because I totally get the average person saying that. Like, that makes total sense to me. I can buy that. I can get behind it. If someone's job is to know and understand to a degree at like a 6 out of 10, let's say, at least, everything adjacent to that, how can you not understand this?
Mm.
That is hard for, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm being way too like conspiratorial, or maybe he just doesn't give a shit. But like, to me, because I've like Joe, I've been a very curious person, and so I haven't had the opportunity of speaking to people firsthand, but I've had the opportunity of being a fly on the wall, or like going to read books or watching lectures, etc., and to try to know a lot about a lot. And when you know a lot about a lot, like, this shit becomes pretty obvious.
This was the tweet that I found. So it was about Trump selling faster access to his tweets, right? Shane Gillis was like, selling faster access to his tweets and then you could bet on the markets. It's literally insider trading. And then Rogan's like, wait a minute, what? Is that real? How is that legal? Who's telling him this is a good idea? And then he basically says at the end of the video, he's like, somebody must be in his ear, like saying something wrong, like somebody's, infiltrated. And then Grunich here was like, Joe Rogan knows every conspiracy there is to know. But whenever someone tells him a fact about Trump, he tends to have never heard of it. So I thought that was kind of funny because this is also like something that's been talked about for a long time. Let me say it this way. It's been months of people talking about Trump's going to sell access to this thing. It already made headlines when it was just a thought. Now it's like live and people are talking about it again. It's like, oh, what? Oh, that's crazy, man.
Like, and Joe's also like very recently, there's been like a rise of people making like reaction videos and things of that nature that have gone like mega viral to the point where it's impossible it wasn't sent to him a bunch of times about how the public is seeing his association to the administration and then also the tech people. And so, yeah, maybe he's like, oh, I kind of got to go the other way a bit here.
Yeah, totally. That would just suck, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
What would suck?
Just getting that deeply entrenched into the fabric of society to where, like,
it's a tough job, man. Like, obviously, I think a lot of the criticism to a degree, like I understand where it's coming from, but I also don't think that many people are realizing like how difficult that is to manage that shit. Especially because like, we actually kind of have a bit of a buffer because our show is virtual, right? So like the natural empathetic tendencies of an individual, like that's a little bit less difficult, sorry, less easy to exploit, right? But if people see Joe as like an asset, essentially, they talk about this all the time in the CIA. Like, what's the best way to get someone to do something is become their friend, right? So there's also a piece of that, right? And I know everyone else who's outside would be like, I would never do this. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to say that.
totally, man. You're getting dinner with these guys. They're funny. They're super charismatic, and it becomes hard to use your platform to crap on them.
Also, who's to say if we're aware that these three-letter agencies do shit like this to regular civilians where the stakes aren't that high? Like, there's the guy who thought that he had seen UFOs flying near him, and then someone's job was basically to gaslight the shit out of this guy, and he drove him insane.
That's wild.
So it's like you're telling me that wouldn't be happening, like, to someone that's this important as well? So he's got a very difficult thing. Plus, the other thing too is that it's harder for him not to, like, there's so much noise, he can't really look at any of it.
That's real.
Right? Because there's so much where it's like, whose voice do you listen to? Because almost everyone's opinion has some merit to a degree, but you can't touch all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a whole different level, man. Because like everyone knows you. Like, as in, like, even the people who,
Yeah.
are great, big, huge, successful, whatever. Like, they all know you. So everything you do is going to get criticized. Like, you just got
Analyze
to
it.
have your people, and that's it.
Yeah, but then I think what he could do better is like deliberately having on people who are the counter forces for this. Right? Like, how many guys in a row has he had that have been like pro tech?
That's true.
Right? Like, you should purposely have someone who's like, maybe we should throw in someone who doesn't like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. That has been like his sprint this past year has been like Chamath, uh, Mark Andreessen,
Yeah.
Teal. So,
And you can see they're getting to him where he basically talks about AI like it is Jesus. And that's not hyperbole. Like, those are his words, not mine.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me something last night that really made me think, man. And it does tie back to this crypto thing.
What's up?
So that thing that you sent last night, it was like this guy who was talking about this like tech industrial complex that apparently the previous president of the United States, like in his final speech, was warning people about. I didn't see any of this. I haven't seen any of that.
Which president?
Joe Biden. Apparently, in his final speech, he was talking about the tech industrial complex and how they're like getting too powerful or whatever. I've yet to see the speech, but I just saw this video.
Go ahead.
And here we are now, where it's like, I mean, it's not that that much has changed since just a couple of years ago, but I would say that the overall acceptance of what's happening has definitely changed.
The foregone conclusion of it, and then also how seemingly their increase in power comes at our decrease in
Mhm.
autonomy or free will, right?
Totally.
And ability to take care of ourselves as well.
And like to lay it out, right? Like there's this sort of ethos in the world right now that is big tech and surveillance state people are they're taking over the world. We're cattle in the system. The robots are going to take over, and like if you do anything to step out of line, then it'll be on a flock camera. They'll know, and they'll zap you with a drone from the sky. Like, okay, not literally, but like that's the world that we're apparently moving towards, and apparently that's inevitable because AI is going to take over, and these people who own these companies will be the only ones who have any real power.
Mhm.
We've seen like headlines, like for instance, with the cars in the United States, it's like some mandate about like you're gonna have a face recognition thing in your car to where if you're inebriated, it won't move. Like crazy levels of like draconian is the word I always use. I got that from
Orwell?
George Gammon. George Gammon,
Gammon.
the oh my goodness, the guy that Simon said he was talking to a lot earlier in his career, the rebel capitalist.
Got it.
I just had never heard that word before him, but it's like it basically just means like uh, I like the word a lot because it works. It's like overbearing power over the people. It's like you. Let's just actually look at the definition of draconian real quick. It means it's an adjective that means excessively harsh, severe, or cruel, especially regarding laws, rules, or punishments. So, anyways, so that's kind of like the world that we're moving into. Palantir, Anduril, and this tech industrial complex, including also the Facebooks, the Googles, who have all the data, who can connect all of these networks into one massive surveillance state, where if you step out of line, they cut off your bank account, or if you step out of line, they shoot you down from the sky with a drone.
And they have the tools to seemingly make that pretty efficient.
So the guy's point was everyone's being told that this is like some inevitable reality
Mm,
that's coming. But like, is that the case?
it's
Like, can
not.
we not do something here? Like, come on, folks.
If you were that close to the finish line, what would you say? Same thing, right? Because you know that that's just like influential psychology 101, right? If you like, if perception is reality, all that I have to do is make you believe that, and then it is true.
100%. And I don't even know if the guy touched on crypto throughout this episode, that episode at all. But that was the only thing that was on my mind. I'm thinking about like, whoa, like in what ways? I think he maybe does. Yeah, because okay, so there's also this other things that are going on, like Prospera. I know some of you guys have heard about that because you talk about it in the comments sometimes. But there's like this city that Peter Thiel, I believe, and like some other guys like basically have built. And it's like this weird kind of like tech, like how would I put it? Like, there's words for this, but it's like, what is DC in the United States? It's like its own sort of legal
Totally.
area. And like Prospera is kind of like that as well, but in a different country. And it's like they've got all these weird rules and it's like owned by tech people. The dude in that video really breaks it down super well. But like basically, the world is supposedly moving towards a place where the tech oligarchs own it and like they make the rules and they have way more power than the governments themselves.
Mhm.
And so he talks about like the libertarian movement. And it's crazy because I kind of was a part of this, or like rather, I was being pitched this concept as well when I was in high school of like, not the left, not the right, but this thing in between. And but what he's saying is that the tech people love that argument when it means that they're being oppressed, if they're being oppressed by the rules.
Mhm.
But if the rules are helping
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
then all that goes away.
totally. That's what I was saying to our guest the other day.
You said that exactly that to him, yeah. Yeah, so it was really cool to hear him lay it out as well because it's like, dang, that's super real. Um, but yeah, so it's like, okay, so you get to the point to where, okay, in the previous administration, for instance, like the government is bad. Like choke point 2.0 is happening, and like there's real things. Like there are real things that were happening where the government was trying to shut down the crypto people, and they were shutting down the cannabis people before that, and
Mhm.
so on. And then now you've got all of a sudden the tech people are super tight with the administration, like they're all buddy buddy. And it kind of hit me for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, because he laid this out. He's like, apparently Peter Thiel was someone who greatly influenced the vice president of the United States in his career.
Huge. Oh, yeah, he wouldn't exist without Peter Thiel.
And so if you look at the Joe Rogan, it all ties back in, guys. You look at the Joe Rogan podcast, literally almost back to back. You had these two guests on the pod. And 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 if you think, I just started to click, I'm like, whoa, like what if these tech people are just in the White House? Like that's the tech industrial complex that's now running things already in some way.
And you also, if you wanna go even more conspiratorial, it's like, could a lot of of Joe Rogan's relevance have been created for the purpose of that we're experiencing now?
He's using these tech platforms to do it. He was paid $1 billion by these Spotify's or whatever not to do it.
And see, the thing is, like, I act like people are like, "Oh, do you think Joe is a plant?" I'm like, I would actually be more concerned about Jamie, his producer,
Oh, snap.
because
Word.
it's been the content strategy that's really taken him off, right? And
It's
he
true.
just he just randomly met Jamie. Like, of course, you do meet good people, and that does happen, and I'm being way too conspiratorial, I'm sure I'm full of shit, but, like, as a social media strategist, I'd be more looking at him.
Wow. Wow. That's fascinating. Yeah. I think it's fascinating that Joe also has been the character that has been I mean, I guess he's just yeah, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, like he's not extreme in my eyes, at least. Right. And so I guess that's why it works.
Joe?
Yeah, like him being like the darling. Like, why would you really pick Joe in particular?
What do you mean he's perfect? He's the perfect selection. He is he's who you wish your dad was if you're young. He's who you wish your friend was if you're old. He's just famous enough to know all of the big A-list people, and he's low enough where you can see yourself in him. He's the perfect
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, he's definitely super like yeah, I would never think of him as like, "Oh, you think you're so full of yourself," type kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's for sure.
There was more, like, when he was younger, but obviously, like, we all have more ego when we're younger. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see those clips. I think of it like, "Oh, that's funny."
Yeah, totally.
Uh, but but so to tie this back in, folks, because this all ties back in my eyes. When you look at those cities like Prospera, one of the biggest things is digital money and crypto and things like that. And so it becomes like, okay, how can you have a society that's purely built off of like Bitcoin and this and that or whatever? And um, I mean, I started to think to myself, I'm like, man, like there's people who have done so much work to justify why Bitcoin is like free money and it's completely untouchable by government and so on and so forth. But I cannot help but really look at this and say, dude, I don't know about that. Like, because here's the problem. Because of the way that Bitcoin was distributed, the people who were there first and who were in on the game, the people who knew what was good, they have it all. Like, and there's no way to go back on that. Most of the Bitcoin is already in circulation, folks. And so when you think about it from that perspective, right? Who were those people really? Who was talking about something like Bitcoin in the 90s? It goes back to our very first episode, folks, or one of our very
Yeah.
first episodes. It was Peter Thiel. And so when you really think about it, like if those are the guys that have all the Bitcoin, then it doesn't really matter about the long-term effects of what Bitcoin does as a deflationary mechanism. They get to buy all the power now.
It's a fantastic point, Keith, and that is always there. We've talked about that again and again over that. It's like, could that have been the long-term play? Because the only way you take out the financial industrial complex is if you like remove participation in the financial industrial complex. And so to do that, you need an alternative. And so it's like, was that the game plan all along? And could it be a lesser of the evils? Who knows? But that's also why when I went on that Bitcoin Maxi show, why I was like, with my understanding of how messages move, I just don't. I think there's too many people that are gonna say that, right? Where it's like, because people are like, oh, how could it be anything other than Bitcoin? Bitcoin was first. Everything's a copy of Bitcoin, and I'm like, but I don't know if that's a pro. If there's that narrative attached to it,
Mm, yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's fascinating, and then it's just bringing me all back to the first episode, dude. Because you've got those addresses on the XRP ledger,
which is
the
crazy.
Musk,
Yeah.
the Teal,
So,
the Mark
but
Andreessen.
and they used to talk about Bitcoin a lot. Like we showed that video of Teal. I think that's what you're referring to,
Yeah,
right? Where he was
yeah.
explaining how it'll create the one world financial system, basically.
And like, okay, some people will say, "Oh, he made it." Okay, let's say he didn't make it.
Doesn't
You don't
matter.
think he knew about it as soon as it came out, though?
Totally. Yeah. 100%.
So, and when you're that rich, bro, like it's a wrap. Like I'm buying it all. I'm buying miners. Like it's done.
Also, have you read his book?
No.
He's like, competition is for losers.
Oh, I've seen that one circulating though.
Certainly aligns with the thesis.
Dude's got some crazy thoughts out there in the world. Like he wrote some papers too that were about like why he thinks women shouldn't vote. And
Did
this
he
was like
really?
20 years.
I've
Yeah,
never seen
it's
that.
like, yeah, he's got a bunch of crazy stuff out there.
He's clearly very high IQ, but yeah, he comes with a lot of crazy stuff attached to it in terms of like. The other thing too is that like when he had the whole talks, I think Tim Dillon did this best, where he explained how he's like, "Yeah, you wonder why we don't like you? Like, you've got multiple days talking about the Antichrist." He's like, "It couldn't have just been one seminar; it had to be like a weekly seminar." It's like, and I probably butchered that. Go find Tim's actual clip, but it was like,
That's
"You're not
awesome.
doing yourself any favors here, man."
That's hilarious. He's doing a really good job of writing this like social
Tim,
fabric of like what's going on. Yeah.
yeah, he's doing awesome because I think he provides some much needed tension relief, like with through humor to these things, right? And he doesn't really care. He's also close enough to these people where it creates a very compelling angle. Like the fact that he can go on Rogan and talk about these things is pretty interesting.
Yes. It's actually so fascinating too because like his platform to me is like it's almost barely comedy. Like it feels much more to me like Alex Jones, but he's funny.
Yeah, he's also a lot less they're turning the frogs gay type stuff, but
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, he's not like all the way out there, and I think it's all rooted in real stuff. It's just the vibe of like, but why are we here? We're looking here to actually like hear about that kind of stuff, you
totally,
know?
totally. No, he's super funny, man. He's crushing it, and he's probably one of the most skilled at that, at the ability to just like riff on something and also tie in like relevant things and make it humorous even when it's like depressing. Like he's really good at
Yeah,
that. I did a Musk XRP wallet video last night. I found reports that Elon was telling people to buy crypto assets in 2017. Dope abs. Everyone
by
go
2.
follow Good Evening Crypto. What's up?
He said buy 2 crypto assets, as
By
in, oh, he
two.
said Doge and XRP. Interesting.
Interesting. They posted comedy. Oh, here it is. Doge next. Cool. It makes sense. Jake Claver said he has sources who confirm. Would love to see it. Um, but yeah, obviously, Elon was a massive push of Doge, right? And I think what a lot of people are not considering about crypto is that how fast these prices can move, how much money is in the hands of very few. If they want to move the market, they can do so by themselves pretty much on some of these things. And then the cascading effects of that taking place, and how many retail investors are currently holding tiny amounts of this stuff that they think is irrelevant, that may go from like 50 to $100 to like thousands of bucks like this. And then that gets everyone playing again.
I'm just sitting here thinking about Doge, man. Like, cause it didn't go away. It came back up last year
There's
when they
too many
did the
holders
whole
for it to
Doge.
go away completely.
Well, no, and I'm just saying, like, he literally brought it into the government. Like, he literally made a point of like the Department of Governmental Efficiency.
Wow. Yeah. Man, that looks cheap right now.
Don't sleep, folks. Don't sleep.
Yeah, that seems.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
wild,
it's
man.
gonna. It's just we've been saying all this shit for so long, though. You know what I mean? Like, when do you think there's actually like do you think there is a moment like we have that on our sheet? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you think is the like where does things change, right? Because we've been schizo in our bedrooms talking about this shit for like since 2017. You know what I mean? Like, when does that change for the rest of the world?
No, that's super real, man. I think at the end of the day, probably as soon as no one thinks it, like as soon as everybody's shaking out, because I'm looking at the Doge chart too, because I think it's fascinating to look at what's happened over this past cycle. You can't ignore the fact that, oh wow, there's a dancing dog on my
Yeah,
trading
you're
view.
quite,
That's crazy.
that's jokes.
um, I wish I got to show y'all that. But anyways, like it literally didn't make a new all-time high.
No.
Doge didn't. And like just think about how demoralizing that is for the people who have been in the game.
Yeah, who waited that long?
Like there's people who've been around for because it's not just the people who bought it at the top, because we got those people too. I'll never let my friend get over that. But there's also people who bought in 2013 or whatever, and like they're like, whoa, like I just went through another 4 years of holding, thinking that this was gonna make a new high, and it just didn't.
Yeah, it's devastating.
Bro, that's rough to everybody in the game. That happened to XRP people before. We're fine, right? But like this was actually their first time getting that,
Going through that. Yeah,
getting the actual new high this time.
that's a ball buster, man. The universe goes humble. That's awesome. For Doge, two things. The guy who, if I recall correctly, the guy who made Doge like sold it before the massive run, like almost all of his
Oh,
shit, which is
wow.
devastating as the guy who freaking
Wow.
made it. And
Oh my
then
God.
what was the other piece that I was gonna say? I can't remember, but the Dogecoin millionaire was a big thing when it was really running, and he went on Graham Stephan and he had about like $2 million worth and didn't sell any of it.
Oh no.
It's devastating, man. Yeah,
Oh
so
no.
if we do ever see an altcoin season, please, people, sell on the way up. Little bits.
For sure, man. The crazy thing, once again, it's like this past cycle, like I was like, sell when you make new highs,
Yeah, and we never
but you
got that.
can't even do that anymore.
That was the point I was gonna ask you, Keith. You said it happens when everyone's gone. Who's gonna go? Are we not close to that point?
I've seen some more people, man. What happened with well, first off, we've had this, we can't ignore the stuff going on with the hardware wallets. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later in the second half.
Mhm.
But it's like that's leading to some massive capitulation, because it's just another level. It's like you're not just attacking the price of the thing, you're attacking the idea that I'll even be able to hold it after all that years of waiting for something to happen, you know. And now there's been, okay, there was one actual hack, right, to be fair, but there's these incidents that are happening back to back in the hardware space, and it's just like, like that's like existential. I've lost my mind. I told you I had that one guy comment when I was talking about the cold card situation. He was like, I could have sworn this, like, and this guy is like, he's a watcher. He's someone who like watches our stuff. He's like deep into the game. And he's like, I could have sworn this was all supposed to be safer. Like, what are we doing here if this isn't
Mhm.
safer? Like, I'm out, is what he said. I don't know what he did, but it's just like, man, there might be more people that need to get out of here. You might need to check a few more folks on up out of here, man.
Yeah, I guess you're right, 'cause that would shake out a different kind of I guess the Bitcoin people were the last people that really weren't shaken out, 'cause they're pretty high on their high horse.
Yeah, I don't think the altcoin people are going anywhere, because altcoin people don't care.
No, uh,
It's like we don't like we don't have anything, you know what
that
I mean?
that
So
that was the point I was trying to make, right? I don't think you're gonna
yeah,
take it that much lower for altcoin people where they care. Like, I think most of them have it's a write-off at this point for them, for how they see it, or they're being smart and dollar cost averaging here. But, you're right, the Bitcoin people, like, just look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? Like, they've been, feeling good because at least they have the shelter of we're not altcoins, right? So even if their price isn't where they want it, they don't compare themselves to the rest of the market typically. They compare themselves to altcoins, and they're still doing a lot.
yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh man, so many things about this chart that just hurt. Like, we really did not make a new low in the Bitcoin dominance, and it's fascinating, man. But also the total three ES minus stable coins never made a new high, folks. Like the whole thing never made a new high this time around. And I mean, I think that that's devastating for me. Like I guess if I cared or if I just wasn't crazy, I'd be done, bro. I'd be like, there's no way. I've completely lost my mind.
Totally.
So yeah, there's definitely not much more that can happen.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Of course, I was saying this almost a year ago, so clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I guess it depends on your time horizon, but I don't think we're that far away. There's not that many hands to shake out, but we'll see.
What up, Lou Valentino? I don't think we've seen you in the chat before. How you doing?
What up, what up?
Um, so yeah, man. That's what's going on right now, man. We got Michael Saylor on Diary of a CEO. I think there's some clips that we could definitely play as well. So yeah, I kind of went out of order on this, but there's one of the earliest moments that Bitcoin was ever mentioned on Joe Rogan. So let's hear what this was. And this was back in uh
I've met that guy.
2014.
Stefan
Really?
Molyneux, yeah, he lives I shouldn't dox him, but he lived in the town where I went to school, and he came
Word.
into when I was working at The Source, which is an electronics store, and he's like, "I do YouTube," and we talked for, like, 30 minutes. So, yeah, I've met that guy. He's really cool.
Word. Let's hear what he had to
Is an
say.
incredible opportunity. It's like, we got this I do a lot of talk about Bitcoin and stuff like that, where we have the opportunity to have a currency system not controlled by governments, where there's ways of, I mean, these things are just unbelievable opportunities for human communication that doesn't have to go through the prescribed channels and the prescribed gatekeepers and ways of exchanging value. I mean, you can have an IPO. I don't know. In Bitcoin, you can have an IPO and you can start a company without having to spend $4 million on the all of the accountants and lawyers that are needed for an IPO in the West. I mean, the things like that just incredible, because we have got to get faster at getting better as a species, because our technology is going through the roof. Human knowledge is doubling every 18 months. Weapons that are inconceivable to even a generation or two ago are readily available.
And being
Surveillance.
printed in 3D printers.
Yeah, and surveillance technologies. I mean, God, every time we come up with something good, the assholes take it and use it against us. Doesn't that drive you crazy? It's like every time you pull out a gun to fight the mugger does like this, and he has the gun. It's like, damn it. Can't we have technology that isn't put to the service of assholes? We have to get faster at getting better as a species, because our technology is increasing to the point where if we don't get better quickly, I don't think we're going to have much luck staying free.
That's a really good point, because what we're experiencing is largely the rigidity and flawed nature of our existing governance systems as well, right? And money is, I think, a governance system more or less, right? So money, then also how we conduct democracy, right? When the world is farther and farther away from when it was built for, its flaws are going to be more and more extreme.
It's a great point. Yeah, that just to think about that was 12 years ago, man. Like,
Yeah, I met Stefan or Steven, whatever, like 7 or 8 years ago, probably.
and so he runs the number one at the time, the number one philosophy show on the internet called Free Domain Radio.
Yes, and then he dealt with some censorship shit too. I believe it was over COVID.
That would have been the time for sure when someone like him would have some troubles.
Yeah, so I met him, I think it was 2018 or 2019 is when I met him. He was super
Wow.
cool, and there wasn't many people doing YouTube. I was, like, just doing YouTube then, right? So, I said, "I'm a YouTuber too," and then he's like he was really modest, man. Like, he had, like, hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers at the time, and he was so nonchalant about it. It was awesome.
That's sick. So that was one of the earliest moments of Bitcoin being mentioned on the big show. As we mentioned, there was also Andreas Antonopoulos, who was on there 3 times total. But then you fast forward a little bit to like another mainstream podcasting moment for crypto, And it was just a few years ago in 2021
This was
when Lex
awesome.
Friedman had Charles
This
on.
was so good. I strongly recommend anyone who's a Charles fan, and chances are if you watch our show, you kind of like him at least, go back and watch that full episode. It's awesome. Like he drops so much information, and this was really a big reason why I had so much conviction, because I was like, when he hits the podcast circuit, because I knew what podcasting would become, I'm like, there's no one he can't talk to where it's a good episode.
Makes sense. I don't think that I've seen this, to be honest.
It's really
So
good.
I'll check it out.
Go watch it. He talks about the story with ETH, like, and Vitalik. He talks about their differences. He talks about the story, like the origins of Bitcoin, what attracted to him. He has a long history within cryptocurrency. So I think the public perception of Charles is going to do a complete 180, because most of the world that's gonna love him doesn't even know he exists. The people that don't like him, they don't even really know him, because all they care about is the Cardano price.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like if they were doing social media better, he could be so big, man. I've been screaming at them for so long to try to let me help them with YouTube, but they probably will once our show pops. Then they'll be like, oh, this guy's been trying to talk to us for months for free. Like, maybe we should let him.
Totally. I was thinking about oh darn. Well, the next time that Charles, because Charles, if you think about it, I guess he is going to be one of the main figures, right? To continue to do this
with Midnight too.
With Midnight, oh, that was the thing I was going to say, because it's like the people who know Charles are low-key upset with him because they're all focused on crypto and prices of crypto. But like the people who would love Charles are the people who are, like, for instance, worried about like phone addictions and like how messed up social media is and how it's ruining our lives. It's like he's just not reaching those people.
He needs a social strategist, man. He needs someone who understands the game, who can be the translator. He's too smart. He's way too smart. Because like, if you're up here and you're told everyone's like, you always just think everyone's around as smart as you, typically when you walk through life, right? If you're up here, like, and the world is down here, but you think it's here, you speak at this level and it goes right over their head.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is. It's so fascinating too, because yeah, I mean, because I can't even really properly capture how insanely genius the dude is, but I can tell that he's talking down a little bit, but it's still like,
It's not
yo,
enough.
yeah, like, hold on.
Like, he could be so big if you either gave him direction for what to talk about and then like try to say like, don't go too far either way, or you need someone like me or you, like talking to him in real time, being like filling in the gaps, right? Being like, I think you lost people here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like let's fill in that gap, because
that's true.
People don't appreciate the level of his genius, because I don't think people think it's possible to know that much about that much. He's like one of the different kinds of minds, dude. Like his ability to interconnect very complicated subjects. There aren't that many people on the planet that can do that and talk. Right? There's Vitalik, who's like similar level of intellect. Could you listen to many podcasts with him? Love you, Vitalik. I couldn't listen to you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally, man. That's a really good point. Like, if maybe just once a week of all the rants that he's doing,
bro,
like, if he just sits down with someone who understands enough to know that, like, we don't know anything, like, yo,
play translator, because that's what I'm doing all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you and I do that to each other all the time, right? Where like you'll be talking about something that I know you know really well, and I'll try to play the role of the audience and where they get lost. And so I'll be like, oh wait, could you explain this? Even though I know what you're saying, I know the crowd doesn't. And you do that with me all the time. You do such a good job, because I make too many assumptions. And so he needs someone like that. He could be like because think about this. It's so primed for it, man. Every like tech guy that you don't like, he's like the antithesis to a degree, but still can go at him.
Yeah, totally. That's so true. Even just that piece of it, like everyone's so caught up in like bad billionaire tech guys. Okay, well, what if there's another option? And like, what is he talking about? How is he solving these problems?
Totally. To bring it back to our conversation we had with the Robert guy, where he's like, we were like saying that the protesting thing, I don't think the signs is appropriate. I think it's like, okay, this is the game we're playing. Why don't we go build a super team and win?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because if I think that I can if I think I can rally the masses and I truly have a superior product, does it serve me well to spend my time telling them their product isn't good, or why can't I just prove it in the market? Right, which I think is what I think is going to happen. Like we actually have a guest coming on next Tuesday to talk all about these technologies in terms of Midnight's one of them, but the kind of freedom technologies that are being built and the movement around that. He's a super cool dude, one of the best storytellers in crypto Web3. He'll become a very big name, I think, and it'll be a very fun conversation.
So next week on Tuesday, we're having a regular stream, and then we're having an evening stream. Correct?
That's
Pretty sure.
my understanding.
Which one of those is that? Is it one of those two guys?
Yeah, it's the evening because he's in he's in a different time zone, and so we moved things around to have him on. So we're having we'll have our normally scheduled show next Tuesday, which will have the first, second half, all the bits and pieces, and then we'll be doing additional night stream. So if you typically can't tune in live, maybe at 7 p.m. Eastern you can, and that will just be the conversation piece.
Fire.
That's fair. Fair counterpoint here. There's only one problem with Charles. He believes blockchain can solve everything. That's fair. That's totally fair. But I think he knows it can solve a lot, so he'd like to see it. But yeah, that's a totally fair perspective.
Yeah, Brian Mario, that's correct. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's the exact word that I had in my head too, Noxo. Was like a religious type thing. But is that bad? Like, is that fully bad though? I don't know.
I guess it just becomes a matter of like if that repels people, right?
Yeah.
It's the other thing that happens from that.
Yeah. I also think that a lot of people in this whole Web3 space, Bitcoin, Charles with Cardano, and all the things that people are building, like until they see it in practice and like show me that doesn't work, they're gonna think that it is like a religion. You know what I mean?
True.
Because it's like, yeah, prove it. Like, let the market decide. I'm not getting a chance here.
100%. Continuing along the line of Charles, this past year, I guess last year, 2025, he was also on the Sean Ryan show. And that was another big moment for Charles and all of crypto. And this is also at a time where, like, I mean, I guess it actually wasn't that bad in July. Things weren't that bad. It was in October that everything turned around. But anyways, Cardano founder talking about the secret DARPA AI project that became Siri. So it's like, these are the types of conversations, right, that Charles can obviously speak on from a whole different kind of perspective, but also that he can talk about on these mainstream sorts of formats. And this was another big moment for the crossover of crypto. But the biggest one that's happened by far, I'd say, in recent times is Diary of a CEO and this man, Michael Saylor, coming on to his show. So, and it also, like, this isn't just a tech conversation. You can see the thumbnail here is do not buy a house, right? So it's like, what does this mean from an investment perspective? It's a big part of the conversation that's being had.
That's the big one. Because, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
For a lot of people, they'll never care about the tech. You know what I'm saying? They care about the store of wealth that a house used to be that they can't now access, where if this can replace that, that's a concept they can get behind, I think, personally. So like crypto, Bitcoin, these things are going to mean different things to different people. And I don't know if that's that too dissimilar to how things currently function. Right? Like, let's say even within the stupid collectibles market, and I say it's stupid, I love it, but I think objectively it is dumb, right? These aren't necessities, right? Whereas the same slab of plastic to someone is like uber nostalgia. It means my childhood. The other person, it's a tradable asset that gets flipped in 10 seconds, right? It's the same underlying thing, but you do what you want with it.
Yeah. It's all fascinating because it's like thinking about like how many people care about interest rates as well. For instance, I remember when I was back home, I was asking people in the streets, like, who's Jerome Powell? Like, nobody knows who Jerome Powell is. Like,
Yeah. But homeowners get obsessed with the rates, the interest rates, though,
Yes. Now that's a fact.
because they've been
That's a
taught
fact.
that like their wealth will be dictated by the number that gets changed.
That's so funny. That's so funny to think about, right? Because that's why it's on CNBC. That's why they stream this guy
Yeah.
talking, is because of the homeowner worried about the
Totally.
interest rate.
Completely.
That's
And I
so
got a lot
true.
of buddies in Florida that own real estate, and so like they don't study markets like I study markets, right? So like I always listen to what are their shining stars, right? Like and that's always yeah. It's like oh like because I was telling them I'm like yo the Jacksonville market is way overpriced, guys. Like this will not continue. It can't continue. Like do some math. They're like oh no, as soon as they drop interest rates, it's gonna come right back. I'm like okay.
A better example for what I wanted to say would be like the SOFR. Nobody cares about the secured overnight financing rate. Nobody cares about what's happening in the repo market. Like,
No, no, no.
but that's a great point. Like people know that word interest. It's kind of actually proving the point of like why. So what is the metric that people do care about and why and when? It's the interest rates. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. And for Bitcoin, right? I mean, it'll just be the price at the end of the day. But so yeah, that's a really good point of like, at what point do people care? Only to which it impacts them. And that's the thing about Michael Saylor being on here. It's like, okay, well, if my house isn't going up in price and the interest rates don't help that in any way, then what's going on? Then I guess I need to buy this Bitcoin thing.
Mhm.
I never understood mining. I never understood consensus. I never understood the fact that there's all these other cryptocurrencies, whatever. I'm just like, the value of my house is going down in dollars, it's going up in Bitcoin. So let me get the Bitcoin thing because that's making me richer, and the rest of it's not.
No, it's I think you laid that out really, really well. And these are the kind of psychological things that you have to think about at scale for how communication has to be conducted. Right? Because everyone always just thinks about what would have captured their attention. Like empathy is not that high across the board, especially because we've all had these. We've become obsessed with ourselves even more. So like these messages have to be said in different ways to connect with different people, and they have their own different incentive structures. But yo, it's Mikey. Love this. It's something we think about all the time. How I see it, we will always talk about how our parents had cheap 15 to 20K, et cetera, housing opportunities. I think our children will say to, well, you had crypto for pennies on the dollar.
Man, I
Abs
hope
and I,
so.
yeah, we when Abs was on our show, that was a freaking awesome episode. We got to get him on again. But that's his thesis as well, and I completely agree with him on that. Where I think that that's the role that it will play.
Man, all those memes of like, how'd you get rich, Dad? It's like,
About
about
Farcoin.
crypto.
Yeah,
Yeah, about Farcoin. Oh man, but yeah, see how it goes.
we'll see.
Um,
I think we're close, man. I think we're coming up on some very big months, Keith. In terms of, I still until the Clarity Act doesn't pass, I still think it'll happen this year. But I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong, if I am, and I probably will be. But I don't know. Something in me, I'm like, I think something's going to happen. I think that it could be even a black swan event that forces it into action, and it has to happen now. Otherwise, there's some massive reason why it's so detrimental if it doesn't. I think that plays a role. And even if it doesn't happen, I still think Grand Theft Auto will play a very big role culturally to bring this crap back.
yeah, man, I do think it's there was something else I was gonna say about that whole piece. It's like once you have that stuff in the games, man, it really solidifies once again. Oh, that's what it was. Like the Charleses of the world, then they become relevant. Then the average person wants to hear what he has to say.
Totally. Overnight, right? That's why for some of the projects that we are like the things that we're building in the background that I want to incorporate the blockchain tech, like we kind of got to get moving
Yeah,
to have early movers advantage there. But
sure.
you're dead right because think of the life-changing experience that takes place where someone's been so consistently extracted from on these games, right? Where they throw this money in and although they know there is real world like value to it, they can't sell it even if they want to stop playing. And then now they can. Dude, that's a wow experience. And it potentially it goes up in price, right? Like let's say there's this limited time asset that they create within GTA and it was only for a select amount of time and then you can never get that again. That will increase in
Mm,
value all the time, man. I
mm.
think back to and anyone who's plays video games, this is so obvious. Like that's why when it all happens, I'm gonna be like, guys, how did you not see this a mile away? Like stupid shit like I used to play Halo 3 all the time. And there was this one freaking like helmet shield that it took like a shitload of work to get it. And so anyone who had that was like the baller of the lobby. Like you're like, oh, watch out for him. He's got that thing. Right. And that was when things were way more primitive. There wasn't the amount of sheer choice and like options too.
Totally, man. Back to the COD days, it's like having the certain emblem, right? Which was a little bit different because it was an earned thing too. So that'll be interesting to see too. Like, how do you balance the earned thing versus the
Yeah.
paid thing?
Even the earn thing, they can earn money in the game that gives them like a real world asset, more or less, that you could sell from. Then you become professional GTA players.
Facts. If you can just sell it, and then what you would have is a tag that says this is a secondhand item or not.
Something like that. It could be cool.
Because then it'd be sick if you had only first-hand items. Like if you're actually earned it
more of a
all.
flex.
Yeah.
Dude, you can get so creative with this stuff.
Yeah. Come on.
Bro is set on GTA using digital assets. They may not. I could be totally off on all of this, but I just think with how much time it's taken, and the timing of everything, I'd be shocked if there's not some sort of, like, maybe it's not NFTs even. Maybe it's their own chain or their own
True.
or their own like token. Who knows? But I'd be shocked if something like this isn't involved.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. It's the only thing. Whether it's just this time around in GTA or not, it's like I definitely think that we're moving in that direction. I mean, there's just no reason why you wouldn't do this. Like, it's just a massive lack of value capture of new game every year. All the money I spent gone.
There's going to be an emergence of new games too that will be built on these foundations from the beginning. Like, if I was an IP builder, I would be trying to find a lane, and I am doing this, to try to find a lane of people that haven't been served by the big AAA titles, where I can come in and fill that gap with an experience that I know these greedy bastards won't even try. And then, because people are so passionate about the thing that I will be building, I will have a fair opportunity to show them the experience. And then now I've just created a bunch of people that are now fans of this technology. And I think that'll happen at scale very fast.
Love it, man.
Cool. Do you want to go into the second half?
It's time for the second half, folks. I got some news for you.
Hit me with the news.
Okay. What up?
Okay.
Oh yeah, this was interesting. So the first piece, folks, YouTube is going to start counting views differently.
Crazy.
Whoa.
Big change.
Wow. So YouTube is going to start counting a view the moment any video plays, starting August 24th. Oh wow, that's super soon. This change will cover regular videos, shorts, and live streams with 0 watch time minimum. YouTube and creators gain more accurate reach numbers for their brand deals, for one. And viewers and advertisers will track true exposure without old duration thresholds. Whoa. I mean, what do you think of this, Ben? That's fascinating to me.
There's so many changes happening on these platforms because, and I think it's because they know something big is coming. But this changes things very dramatically, and I'll try to explain to the average person who's not posted YouTube content like why this is such a big deal. Is because there's so many things across the board that dictate consumers' experience of the content, right? Like, videos aren't watched in a vacuum. Videos are clicked, comparatively speaking, to the other options on their screen, and the things that play in a role in that. People would say, "Oh, it's just a title and thumbnail." It's like one of the biggest metrics there is also the view count. Like, if you're a small channel, you are fighting an uphill battle every time that your video shows up on someone's screen because the number is small. The social proof isn't there. We are so easy to manipulate, Keith. Like, human beings are so easy to manipulate, dude. We all fall for it. Like, if there's a large number there, we associate it to valuable. Right?
That's real.
So if it's a small number, the opposite is true. There are, like anything, there are early adopters. Like, I'm a tech early adopter. I always try the new shit. Because that's just like I like doing that, but there's not that many people that will be early adopters. They'll wait for like 5 cycles down where they're like, this is proven, this is everywhere, this is now a near perfect experience. So they're fighting that every single time, which is pretty ridiculous. And so in my like, if I built a platform, I would do things very, very differently. But this changes things dramatically because if you, there's so many ways where this is impacted. Where before, if someone clicked on your video and they instantly bounced, it wouldn't count as a view.
Mm.
Two, if now when you're on your, like if you hover over a video right now, it starts to autoplay.
Yes.
That wouldn't automatically count as a view. It now does. So like maybe this is to try to diminish that without fully taking the number away.
I'm trying to understand what, I mean, for the creator to think that now you get that extra view, that's extra social proof. That's a pretty big deal. But like, what does YouTube get out of that?
I tried to think about this last night as well. And I'm not certain on it. Do you have any theories?
No, I don't. I don't get it per se. The other question that people have been posing is, okay, well, what were the things before? Like what was the threshold before to count as a view if it wasn't instantly?
I think it was,
Um,
do you know what it is? It wasn't like 20
I
or
have
30
no,
seconds, something like that.
I didn't see, I didn't see the answer to that.
Got it. I think it was like between 10 and 30 seconds, something like that. Please, in the comments, if you know, let us know. But it's definitely a massive change. And yeah, so they've changed the number of what it was before. Is it called qualified views? Are they calling it now? Or if the old metric?
I have no idea. This is fascinating. Though people are like the botting views is back.
Probably
I
gonna make that a
mean,
little easier.
yeah, like I don't get that. Like, wasn't that the whole point actually of not having it like that was to verify the quality of the view? I don't know.
Attracts all people, in particular creators. 15 seconds, I believe. Okay, thanks, Abs. So it was 15 seconds that had to be consumed for it to be counted as a view period before. And I think they've now shifted that metric to now be called like a qualified viewer. I can't remember the exact word, but something like that. So that's still available in the back end within YouTube Studio. So that is still a thing. But it's fascinating how much this stuff has changed, and even how, like YouTube, for example, obviously they don't let you skip a lot of their ads, but they've built in features where if you're putting an ad in your own video, they can like help people skip it faster.
Facts,
Yeah,
dude.
it's kind of
We've
crazy.
never talked about that on
Yeah.
here, but that's definitely a thing. That's so funny.
So that's a great point, Brian. They already have changed the, yeah, in Sharp. Thank you. They already have changed the monetization requirements. So now it's 8,000 watch hours now, I think, right? And
Right.
1,000 subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
which yeah, pretty fascinating. So it does not matter, but it won't change the money. Yeah, it's a little bit of a curious decision to make at the current moment. It'll probably be a lot more clear here with subsequent decisions, and also how we see it change user behavior, because they have data we don't have.
Yeah, no doubt. My friend worked at YouTube for a while, man, and I was just like, he worked in the music department, and like
Music.
he got to run ads for YouTube Music.
Interesting.
And I was like, man, like think about that, bro. Think about that. Think about being able to run ads on YouTube as YouTube.
Yeah.
Like there's unlimited inventory and you don't have to pay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, holy crap.
Yeah, if you nail the
That would be
creative
so
there, you could
sick.
do insane stuff. And the YouTube ad product is one of the most slept on, I think, in terms of paid media, especially if you have a YouTube channel, because your ability to get very creative with retargeting off of that is pretty insane. And also like contextual retargeting, because Google owns YouTube. Like they have ad products where you can basically like hit someone after they've Googled a specific term. How crazy is that, right? Where you
Yeah.
can be like, I know you were just Googling shovels, like here's the best on the market.
Like literally in the video, that's what someone's saying to you. Like, holy
Yeah.
moly.
You'd be like, God?
You just typed into your browser this like best shovels in Texas. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
But you can get very creative, and when we definitely intend to do that with a lot of our products here, once we can afford to do all those things. But the tools are out there. It's kind of terrifying.
You know what? I'm thinking, because y'all are putting this on some game. So Lou Valentino said, I run ads at the end of my videos now. And then Good Evening Crypto says, I love that feature. But I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, YouTube has some way of determining whether or not what's going on is an ad. well, what if we make our ads so stankin' smooth
Yeah, you got to make it like content
that you don't even know?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to get really creative because I'm sure the AI would spot consistencies, or the people skipping it would be the flag. It's probably a combination of the two.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. So yeah, that's the thing. So if it's just super engaging, bro, then like no one's gonna skip it and you just won't even know.
Well, that's why once we really get big, we'll turn off our ads if you're here live, and we'll only have them on after for the replay.
Facts. So yeah, it's super interesting conversation there. They have plenty of things to say. Autism Capital said, so you're juicing the numbers to sell to advertisers. Amazing.
Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of these platforms are making very big changes now. One, because the AI tools make it substantially easier to do so. But two, I think the shifting opinion on social media, and also the regulatory changes that are inevitable with where things are going. I think they're all part of it.
That's what's going on there. I've got this next one. You ready for me?
Hit me with it.
Hayden Panettiere passes away at 36. What is it?
I think it's Panettiere.
Panettiere dies at 36. Apparently she passed away from a cardiac arrest in South Carolina. I did not hear about this at all. This came months after her memoir and podcast detailing a Hollywood setup at age 18. Social media users note the timing amid her industry critiques, and authorities report no foul play. The cause of death is pending further tests.
Yeah, she was, I believe she's Canadian. I had a big crush on her as a kid.
Same.
She was a very beautiful woman, and she was quite talented, man. She's American, so I was wrong. But yeah, the timing of everything's very weird, because she came out and said some stuff about industry things that is a lot of the stuff that you hear about Hollywood over and over and over again. It's that interview, I think. And then also there's other things too, where I'm seeing secondhand sources, so fact check everything yourself. But she had been involved with like some domestic issues with a previous boyfriend or a current boyfriend. So like there's a lot of things that I'm sure will come out, but it's super sad. She was really young.
That's crazy. Yeah, I had not heard anything about any of that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild. I also feel like the cardiac arrest thing is probably something that if they're doing it that way, they should probably stop, because I think people are starting to like get hip to the fact that like, well, that's what it sounds like when they
another one
when they
that was
off them.
apparently pneumonia was another one too.
Ah,
That was a consistent one of people who had been at some parties.
wow. Some people are saying they're saying she overdosed. Classic overdose near railroad tracks or on a balcony.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics at all.
The other, I think they're technically saying that that's what
Yeah,
it sounds like, type of thing. But
totally.
Super sad. So sorry to hear about that one. Prayers and thoughts to the family there. This next one, it's crazy. I was just talking to someone about this, kind of hinting to it on the podcast that I was on Friday. Penn State had a fraternity cocaine bust. 14 people charged in cocaine trafficking ring.
That's crazy.
Run through the Penn State Delta, Epsilon, and Sigma Chi fraternities. Guys, I hate to say this out loud, but now that this happened, I can say it. I can say it in your face. I can say it for real. This is what fraternities are. In the States, at a big school.
This is drug operations.
It's a massive op, and no one can touch them. The cops are right on they're on the corner protecting it.
True. Like, yeah, they're like secret societies, man.
It's crazy, bro. So in this story in particular, because lock in, the pledges allegedly forced to cut and package okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. As a part of their hazing, suppliers brought large amounts from New York and Philly. The case draws attention for linking major drug operation to college Greek life. Well, this is probably where they messed up too. I mean, you can't make the pledges do that. That's crazy, bro.
That's such
But
a
like,
liability.
it's such a liability. They're pledges. They're not in the gang yet, bro. Like,
Yeah, that seems like a little preemptive. Like you should, like, that's crazy. They do make you do some like weird shit to try to get in there. So like maybe they had already gone through that stuff.
what's so wild to me is like, y'all, like, that's what it is. Like, like that's what it is. Like you're getting essentially like jumped into the gang. Like if you're participating in this, then you wouldn't dare tell.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and dude, it's crazy because they also try to like brag about who's been in the club before, and then they also try to go after parents, kids, right? So they call them like legacies or whatever. Where
mm-hmm.
if your dad or somebody was in it before, then they really target you because then there's extra layers of influence, right? Where the dad also wants to continue to live vicariously through the kids. So there's now additional forces for whatever the frat says you do, kind of deal. So it's, bro, it's really messed up. Oh, my shit flipped over again. I'll bounce right back in.
I don't see anything. No problem. Oh, was it through your mic though? Maybe. Gotcha.
Bro, I'm gonna lose it. I'll be right back.
There it is. Now I see your mic changed. But yeah, folks, like, I don't know how to say this. Like, I guess I can't really say it, but like, I've told y'all where I went to uni too much. But like, big schools with large levels of influence, sometimes in port cities, like, have these, orgs. They got these orgs where it's just like, bro, and I made this statement on the podcast that I was on last week. It's like, sometimes it's not just these substances. Sometimes there's other kinds of things that are being moved around. Like, in some ways, guys, I hate to put it out there like this, but people get thrown into the mix too. And at the university that this is public, like the university I attended, there was an instance where that is exactly what was going on. There was a ring of people being trafficked through the school.
Whoa.
So at the end of the day, it's like, yo, and that one might not have been directly tied to the Greeks, but it's just like, it's crazy stuff.
It's kind of crazy because there's so many of these things that are like that. Like I played college football for like 1 year and it was very frat-like as well. Like hazing and crap like that.
When you look at society and how it's structured, it's like the Greeks are the only ones who get away with this as if this is just normal. Like structured process for how
you
that
only
goes
really
down.
hear about it if it's like super messed up.
So yeah, like the hockey in the Canada, the football stuff in the
America.
South and the States. It's like, it's weird, man. It's gross. It's
a lot of
stay away.
It's a lot of like what's wrong with the entire world, right? Where everyone just says like this is the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's super fucked up. That's like a big reason like why I quit football too, because I was like, is this what I want to be part of for 4 years? And like fight and scratch and claw to like play on this and be around this. Like I couldn't get behind it. Do you know what I'm saying? And there were some really good guys on the team, don't get me wrong, but there was like that culty feel. And I joined a frat after, so like I'm not saying that like I'm opposed to these kinds of like or above these kinds of things, but also my frat was nothing like this. Like it was a new chapter. There was like 12 guys in it. It was pretty like lame and tame.
The new chapter is where you can low-key get away with being chill.
Yeah.
I almost joined a frat that way too.
Yeah.
They were coming back on campus and it was like,
there's not the legacy shit. Yeah, it was exactly like that, where there was just some cool dudes that we were hanging out. We'd occasionally have beer. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, man. But yeah, dude, I was just like, man, seeing some of that stuff was crazy, bro. Because there was one point where I realized it because I was there, and I'm like, there's literally a cop on the court. Like he's not gonna.
They're untouchable.
Do anything. Yeah,
because I'm sure they're so. A lot like we see with politics, like these power structures, they exist in similar ways all across, right? Like people who have the resources and the means and the know-how for how to infiltrate these things to get what they want, they do it at all different levels of society, whether it's local government, local law enforcement. It's the same shit, same playbook that we're seeing on the main stage is happening on smaller scales everywhere.
Yeah. And yeah, so frats in the university, you got the guys in the sports teams, and it's the same thing with Hollywood, right? It's just different spaces where it plays out.
And if you study like brainwashing and like rituals from way back, even go back to like Egypt, man, like this stuff has been proven for a very long time, for like how a pharaoh became a pharaoh type shit, and like the things that they put them through and who would put them through it. I strongly recommend people go look at those things. I'll sound too crazy if I start talking about them. So if you're interested, continue that research.
Yeah, man. All right, folks, before we get canceled or whatever, next piece. Amazon scanning rare books for AI training. So journalists hid an AirTag in a rare book shipment and tracked it to an Amazon warehouse. Workers at the facility cut book bindings, scan pages, then destroy the physical copies. The operation feeds scanned data into Amazon's AI training datasets. Rare editions are being bulk acquired solely to build machine learning models.
Wow. Yeah, you'd think about it as the original online bookstore, they'd have a bit of a advantage there.
I'm confused on like, is Rare Books like a brand, or is it saying Rare Books?
I think it's like books that are hard to acquire is my understanding, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, just rare collectible vintage books is like a thing. Because it sounded like it was like a branded term, but I guess it is, but not in the sense of it being a brand. It's just that Rare Books is like a category of books. So yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, super interesting. Anything else on that one?
Buy the books you want, people, and try to get as old of books as you can. And it's fun exercise is try to find like old books and then see the differences in the reprints. That's a fun thing, because why was it worth taking out? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work, but there's sometimes you'll find some very interesting things.
Totally, man. Next piece, OpenAI axes their catastrophic risk team. Interesting. So apparently they shut down their preparedness team that assessed AI models for catastrophic risks. The Financial Times first reported the move from late July. Work on bio, cyber, and other risks was reassigned to existing teams. And this comes amid OpenAI restructuring and recent AI safety incidents. So let's see. Somebody actually made an interesting comment that I think is worth reading. Zach Vole, he's also a big crypto commentator. And he probably also does stuff, but I know his voice. He said, news like this would normally be a little alarming, but the Financial Times is so effing bad at journalism that I automatically assume they are misrepresenting the facts in the most possible way, in the worst possible way. Interesting. Fair enough. Anything on that?
No, that's it's fascinating just to even see what like what sections of the business even exist. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of wild that from this early on, like that was a department of the business.
Yeah, and that they still have not done that great. I guess they've served as the marketing team. Actually, they probably absorbed them into the marketing department.
Yeah, exactly. They shut down the department because it became marketing.
That's awesome. So apparently, the NASDAQ is about to allow some overnight trading. They're going to add stock trading from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern starting December 6th of this year. This move creates nearly 23-hour trading 5 days a week, pending SEC approval. And it's responding to rising demand for things like this. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, well, there was talks, big talks about everything going on chain, allowing for 24/7 trading, correct? Wasn't that something that's been talked about quite a bit?
Yeah, there has been a lot of talk about that. I think a lot of it has been I don't know if it was maybe it was just the NASDAQ this whole time, but there's two major, there's two major stock exchanges. There's the NYSE and the NASDAQ, but then there's also the CME for the future side of things, which would make a lot more sense in a lot of ways. At least it would just be a very small change because it's only 1 hour of the day that's really not traded. Um, and so, yeah, fascinating to think. Well, something also that would be interesting is having interoperability between the futures market and the spot market. Like, I'm sure there are backend systems that companies build out to connect them in some ways, or at least connect their exposure to these two different markets in some ways. But if you put everything on chain, you could very directly have your stock portfolio collateralizing your futures trades. And maybe it already works like that in the back end, and I just don't know. But I think from the retail perspective, even that would be super interesting. Instead of having to have extra cash that you post as collateral to be able to trade in the futures market, you could just have your stock portfolio being a part of that.
Yeah, it's it'll be very interesting to see how it develops. But that rolls out in December, correct?
Yeah, man, that's super soon.
It's not far away.
It's kind of wild to think like we're actually seeing legitimate changes in the financial system in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. It almost is like maybe all the craziness around everything else was just to diminish all of that too, right? Because like when you realize that, or when you're told that everything is as crazy as we're being shown that it is, like no one's caring about the financial system, especially when people are broke too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely been a wild couple of years. This next piece, Ripple with a new Korean bank deal. Jeonbuk Bank deploys Ripple payments as Korea's first regional bank for cross-border transfers. This replaces multi-day SWIFT with near real-time 24/7 settlements for business customers. Ripple's third Korean partnership in 2026 after Kyobo Life and K-Bank. This enables faster, always-on international payments for Korean firms and startups. I mean, it's a weird thing watching this happen with Ripple because it's just like, okay, Japan was a major focus for a long time. I've seen a nice amount of MENA, Middle East, North Africa things coming out for quite some time. And now you got Korea in the mix. And it's just, once again, all of Ripple's customers, at least used to be international banks. Like it was always that. And so it's just like, all right, every single piece of the map at some point is going to be like, there's some major partnerships that Ripple has with these companies that are there, and so on and so forth. And you can get mad at me, but it's just happening. Didn't say they're going to use XRP, but it's happening.
They got relationships.
Yeah. So
it seems like we get a new one of those every week.
Yeah. Speaking on some of these things, the White House is having a crypto summit, I believe, this week. Yeah. Shout out to Abs for the tweet. One of the people who will be at that will be Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse. Don't get mad at me, brother. Hey, they can have any CEO in there. He's in there. You got Coinbase, Robinhood, Gemini CEOs are also expected to attend alongside Trump and the regulators. This gathering is focused on crypto regulation and market structure policy. The XRP community is closely tracking this for its potential regulatory signals, right? So to zoom in on the actual picture, you've got Vlad Tenev, Robinhood, Tyler Winklevoss from Gemini, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple Labs. I'll point out something in just a second, but you also got Paul Atkins and Michael Selig, the CFTC and SEC chairs alongside President Trump. But there's probably some more people that might be there, but who did they put on the screen? They put Brad in there. Brad's the only one who happens to be of a company that's not an exchange like the rest of these or a brokerage. I don't know what else to tell y'all, but that's weird at the very minimum. It's just weird. That's all I got to say.
Very odd. Totally.
Next piece. Citi to launch Bitcoin custody services. Citigroup will offer Bitcoin custody to institutional clients later this year. The service will launch via the bank's new custody and platform. Custody Plus platform. Clients hold Bitcoin with stocks and bonds without managing private keys. Major bank move advances institutional access to Bitcoin. Yes, we've been seeing a lot of talk about this kind of stuff, but looks like Citi's going to actually make it happen. Yeah, I mean, so custody for institutional clients is a big deal at the end of the day. It'll be interesting to see. I guess the banks wouldn't tell us this if they were using, I imagine they're using the BitGos and the Coinbase custodies of the world. And the Anchorage is another big one, actually. Meaning, like, there's people who have spent a lot of money on building out this infrastructure to maintain private keys for institutional level grade clients. And it wouldn't make sense for a bank to like build an entire division to do that. It's not their business model. No, it's not their business model. I mean, imagine like banks building vaults. Like they could, but they'll probably buy it or, you know, like rent it. You know,
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's pretty much exactly what it is. So yeah, fascinating. Yeah, I mean, like the bank's whole job is risk management, right? They got a bunch of credit analysts, and now definitely they have to have some level of tech. But it's like you're talking about a very specific kind of tech. You're talking about people who can also demand high income for that. You know, like a blockchain security analyst is like somebody that you're going to pay 400K probably, and for something like this, at least.
Yeah, I think a lot of developers have been wrongfully overlooking what this space will mean. You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to push some younger people that were developers that I knew that were like, oh, I can't get a job anymore. It's like, go over here, man. It's the blue ocean.
Especially in the security space. I mean, that's like the #1 name of the game. If you can't secure the assets, then they're not worth anything.
It's irrelevant. Yeah.
And I just remember last year I was talking to a cybersecurity guy in my neighborhood, and it was so fascinating, man. I love talking to those people because they're like different levels of genius. And I mean, like, you know, like network engineers types of people. They're crazy genius. They're like the same types of people who would architect Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Like they're the same thinking. And it's like he just had, yeah, no, like I've heard about it, but like, no, I don't do the Bitcoin thing. I don't get it. I don't care.
How comfortable with
your time? I mean, anybody who's that high up in cybersecurity is comfortable, but like, you're not like an exec at the company. You know what I mean? Like, but those people can easily make a quarter. You know,
I feel like those are the people who would ignore it the most.
Unfortunately. But in this case too, like the dude's super passionate about it, about cybersecurity. And I'm just like, dude, like this is the most fascinating thing happening in cybersecurity right now. Like it's securing money in an open, permissionless manner. Like, how could you ignore that? But sometimes it's also just selectively curious, you know, to where it's like, is this making me money? You know what I mean, or not?
Totally. So. Yeah. It'll be very weird when these things become mainstream conversations. Like, what's up? You got something?
I'm so close to dying.
Dying, because your friend saw me. He's like, guys, when I start going on normal podcasts, he's like, sell. He's like, awesome. That's a top signal, because it'll happen, right? Like a lot of these people on the fringe, that they're only there for now because the public doesn't know how obvious this stuff all is. And it's this, y'all got to remember too, that even the people and like the billionaires that now dominate our psyche and the platforms that we use every single day, like they were seen as fringe weirdo nerds too.
True.
For a very long time.
Very, very true. This next piece, sad month for hardware. SafePal had a customer data leak. Can't make it up. It's a crypto wallet, and apparently they had names, emails and addresses, and order details of nearly 40,000 hardware buyers exposed due to a plugin flaw. So crypto seed phrases, private keys, and payment info stayed secure. Only shipping and contact data was leaked. Affected users face phishing risks as the data appeared on cybercrime forums. Oof. So Zach XBT, one of the like top guys in the game of like researching these incidents and so on and so forth. He made a post, I guess as early as July 16th, as soon as, and he said, hot take, all hardware wallets are complete garbage, and I do not advise using them for important tasks like signing transactions or storing funds. Much better to have a separate iPhone, with its only purpose being to use as your hardware wallet. Ledger is the worst, and Ledger Live has regular updates for UI/apps for no good reason that break simple actions. Only do this if you are not low IQ, he said. That's actually kind of funny. Crypto people are something else, man.
Savages.
Only do what I say if you're not low IQ. But so since that post, you've had 3 incidents. You had the cold card incident, a Bitcoin hardware wallet hacked for 40, it was more like 100 million. Trezor, one of the largest cold wallets, experienced a major data leak. SafePal, one of the largest cold wallets, experiencing a major data leak, says Stacy Moore. And yeah, no, I mean, well, I loved the piece about Zach saying to keep a separate device. I've been telling people that actively as well. I'm like, I didn't say an iPhone, I said a computer, but I guess you could also do it on an iPhone or any smartphone. Technically, you could do that as well. But yeah, I look at that as a different form of having a device that you could have cold. You turn it off, leave it alone. You know, if you need it, plug it back in and get it up. But yeah, what are some of your thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, I think everyone's got to consider this stuff until we find more creative ways to eliminate these problems. I think that's a very easy one to approach because most people have a secondary device in their home. Like it's not got to be like you don't need to be super high powered, right? Like a lot of people stop using their previous iPhone because it got too slow. Like that's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, you just want something that can be offline and accessible when you need it, I guess. I just tuned into the show right now, but most crypto news has been so negative lately. I want to quit investing in it. Just leave what I already put in. And
I don't think that's actually true. I think the voice boxes are so beaten up that they have a negative undertone to anything that they say. But because if you actually are looking at the headlines themselves, it's like incredibly bullish.
yeah, I mean, but there's these things that are happening, and this is like existential stuff for people.
Fair. Like the security stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good for the institutional side.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we weren't using cold card.
So Bibu was asking, you'd still be storing it on a hot wallet or on an exchange? I assumed you meant hot wallet, right?
What did I say? Oh, well, if you have your device, I don't know if you consider that hot. I guess if it's connected while your device is connected to the internet, then technically it's hot. But I mean,
Yes.
like using a MetaMask even, right?
Yeah.
And not to say them in particular, but using a software application on your phone.
Yeah.
To store it. Correct. So, but hot wallet, I still don't actually know if I really know the actual definition because I think hot means that it's connected. Yeah. A hot wallet is a digital cryptocurrency wallet that stays connected to the internet. So technically, right? Like, yeah. So it says common examples include mobile apps, Trust Wallet, browser extensions like MetaMask, and accounts on exchanges. So technically, because the app itself is connected, you consider that a hot wallet. Cool. Yeah, but yeah, I do in general, like as I've said many times, guys, like I just recommend it. And what I do is I just spread it across everything. Like bro, like there's no thing that's gonna wipe me out of the game.
I think you should take that approach in life too, to be honest. Like, I think a lot of people are so sad about crypto because it was like their whole thing.
That's a great point. Don't make crypto your whole thing. And in fact, anything financial, it feels like if anything financial is something that has to work for you, it's probably not.
Well, the problem is on an energetic level there too. Like the excess potential that you're creating from that need is like people go read reality trans surfing It's a fun book, but like that concept is one that I think about all the time. And that also relates back into when you're like trying to read people too, which is the whole AI thing we talk about so much, where like they need something to happen. It's a lot of excess potential.
It completely ruins your ability to navigate it, and then you sell at the bottom, like because you're just like, this is the only thing that you have. It happened to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not immune to it. It happened to me.
What do you mean?
Because crypto was the only thing that I had, and because I never
Yeah.
took any crypto profit.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
When it came down in value, I had to sell that thing bottom.
There's so many people that rode the roller coaster up and down, round trip.
Facts, bro. Facts, bro. Next piece. Apparently, Ansom launches Z500, which is an on-chain index and curation protocol on Ansom.io. New token teams can airdrop supply to Ansom holders and burn Ansom to rank higher. This aims to fix pump fund issues like rugs and poor curation via transparency and commitments. Interesting. It gives Ansom holders exposure to vetted launches and team access to Ansom's audience. Okay, I don't know this world too well. I'll ask my meme coin guy after this. But
yeah, Ansom's one of the biggest names in crypto, and definitely when it comes to trading, for sure.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
up?
like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, love you, Ansom. I wouldn't go near.
Yeah, I don't think you're the target market.
But yeah, like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to tell anyone what they should do or anything. What I'm trying to think through is like, yeah, like I don't understand the mechanics of pump fund enough to know why what they're doing is any better or different or interesting.
Yeah, it's the whole like trading scene, the meme coin trading scene is pretty crazy. Like the numbers of how many people are actually winners, and then if you do that over an extended period of time, how many are actually winners? Like it's pretty horrific numbers. But obviously, when you get new people in, then you have an edge because you understand the game a lot more. But that's going to take the market moving for like new participants to enter, which I think will happen. But maybe it'll be experiences like this that start to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Wishing you the best of luck with that, Ansom. Truly. Next, it's time to react to some stuff. It's time for the memes.
Hit me with the memes, please.
All right. So the only problem here is that I don't have the link here. So give me just a second. Choo-choo-choo-choo. Cool. First things first.
I'm the realist.
The Flock CEO is defending America's camera network. Garrett Langley is the co-founder and CEO of Flock Safety, a public safety technology company building license plate cameras, drones, and policing software. Garrett Langley says Flock's license plate cameras have helped solve over 1 million crimes and locate more than 10,000 missing people.
Yeah, this is a tough look. I think they should have had a guy who was a little more PR trained to take this one.
Okay, so you've seen this already.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll play a little bit of it.
So I started the company 9 years ago with a pretty simple mission, which is to live in a safer neighborhood. And that was our initial pitch. You know, if you look at our first 2 or 3 years in business, it was just neighborhoods. We sold to neighborhoods and we sold a license plate reading camera, which is pretty basic technology. A car drives by, we take a still image of the vehicle, we read the license plate. And the system's gotten more sophisticated with time. We can detect things like a roof rack or a bumper sticker or dent or damage. But that's at its core what the technology does. And if you look at like last year, to your point, we've had a tremendous impact on the country. North of 1 million crimes solved using Flock, north of 10,000 people found who were missing. And that's everything from our grandparents with dementia to our children. Like just last week in Atlanta, there was a stolen car that happened to have a 2-year-old in the back seat. And thankfully, because of very hard work by Atlanta Police Department and our cameras, that little kid was safely returned within the hour. I don't know what that would have happened without Flock.
This is one of the big conversations right now, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure the parent of that kid is obviously like super amped, but there's, yeah, like it's a very multi-layered thing here to think about, and there's also for almost every good story, there's an equally compelling or more scary opposite. Like there was the guy who, he'll probably talk about this later, where like one of the, I don't know if it's a police department or something like that, like stalked his ex through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy stuff.
It's in it. Cool. Thanks, Asiba. Yes. Anything else?
No. Next piece is from Lynn Alden, talking about Bitcoin's biggest risk being disinterest. Lynn Alden is an investment strategist and an author. What's up?
He's saying he had more clips in the previous one. Did you
Okay.
Did you want to skip past it, Keith, or what do you want?
I mean, I can go back to it. It just was hard to tell because it was 8 minutes long. You heard. Let me.
I think this one's worth us going through a little bit though, because it's interesting. We can skip to the second part.
So I started the company.
Okay.
Where are you trying to get to?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Let's start here.
Okay.
I suppose you could use AI to look at patterns and say, these are abnormal patterns for this car. This car is slowly driving up to this house, then driving away, slowly drove up to the next house, drove away, and it did that 6 times.
Yeah.
Is this somebody delivering a lot of burritos, or is this somebody casing the joint? Like, that would be what the detective would be like. Hey, yeah, let's get
really cool.
precogs here, precognition from Minority Report to predict a crime.
Yeah.
Because somebody was casing the joint. Yeah.
Yeah. That I don't want to do. Like, I think we've been really consistent that we never want to be a company that defines suspicion. That's really
people have
dangerous.
asked, I'm assuming, yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's an interesting kind of like happy hour topic of like what does that world look like? But for us, I think it's really valuable that there's a human in the loop when it comes to public safety. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about people's like it's really important stuff. So we always want to have a human in the loop, and I think there is some products that we could build. But the difference is like looking at knowing the cost of getting it wrong, you have to deploy this with third-party proper attestation that it's working as expected.
That's wild.
I saw this one city in Washington. Just it's so sad. They turn the cameras off. The next weekend, a little boy gets shot. Car drives off. It's gonna be a cold case, and luckily, the city next door still had flock cameras. Found the car, made the arrest, and look, the kid didn't live. It's horrible. But at least their family knows justice was served. And so I think we're making really consequential decisions on inaccurate information, and that's tough. And we have to do a better job as a company, like communicating to our customers and their customers' customers, which would be the community, about what this technology does and what it doesn't do. And for me, at least, when I speak to, let's call it 99 people out of 100 and explain the facts, they go, why is this a debate? This feels like we have control as a city. We can set limits. We can set guardrails. I want to be safer than I feel today. I've never met someone who's like, I want to be less safe.
But who's he talking to?
100%. And like, safety is such an interesting thing because, like, I hate to put it this way, but I'm in a place right now that's super safe. I don't have that problem. I don't need your flock camera. So how about we do things that make it safer for people to not have to worry about things like that, because that's an option too.
Yeah, like if the money system was less messed up, if the wealth inequality was less messed up, if there was better systems, time and priority put to better things, like is any of this necessary? So it's like, yeah, in their version of reality, the data would probably suggest that it's an obvious thing, but they're ignoring a lot of obvious things that make that obvious.
100%. 100%, man. Like, we've got in the US massive cultural issues, which those might be harder things to solve, but you can invest in it. You can try. And then you've got massive issues with wealth inequality that lead to these types of things happening everywhere. And yeah, it's always fascinating being in places that are safer than the US, especially when you're told that these places, aren't safe, you know, and it's like, oof, like, you know, it's just a fascinating reality that we're living in. And it's like, oh, it's so inevitable that things are going to get riskier and dangerous. So we've got to record. That kid, like he said, he acknowledged it. I'm glad that he acknowledged it in the video. Because it's like, dude, that kid's still, those parents are still grieving, you know, like, so how about we figure out ways to not have people doing crazy stuff and not how to catch them after they did it. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of that, right? Like, but that's kind of symptomatic of the American condition, right? Like you treat the symptom, not the problem. Like that's present everywhere.
Very true. And usually upstream, there's something that's creating the problem, that's solving it, that's solving the symptom rather.
Bro, and yeah, it's very consistent. But Sharp said that at 2:53 is the cop clip. I'd love to see that if you can go to that.
Cool. Let's
where the guy was stalking his ex or whatever. Because that's also the thing that I thought about too, where it's like, okay, you want a human in the loop. How much power are you giving that human? And I'm not really worried about the human. I'm worried about the people who would come after that human.
Totally. 100%. It's just a major vulnerability in the system, right?
Let's say you're an officer and you'll say you're trying to stalk me. You would look for me. You'd say, I'm looking for Garrett's car. It's ABC 1234. And you'd search for it and you kind of figure out where it is. And then the next day you'd search for me again. And then the next day you'd search for me again. That's very abnormal. If you were truly trying to find me because I committed a crime, you would have put my tag on a hot list so that anyone else in the police department would have been also notified, because you might be asleep, you might be off shift, because I'm a criminal. So everyone has a right, everyone's trying to find me. If you're stalking me, you don't want anyone else to know it's happening. And so that's the easiest one we can flag. But so we built this tool 4 months ago. We kind of put it out there, not knowing, is it going to work well? How good is it? How much signal noise? And so you've seen the headlines of the last few weeks. We've caught a lot of bad cops. And,
really?
And
yeah, unpack it for us.
Yeah, it's a ton. It's more than I ever would have hoped. And you look at my home state here in Georgia, where some of our customers have been with us for years, and I have to give those chiefs an applaud, because they're not hiding behind it. They're publicly saying, "I fired 9 officers today," which is the most severe offense in Georgia, for abusing the system. They're out of my police department. I don't want them.
Fascinating.
That's a powerful narrative that they have, right? Especially with like recent events over the last 5 or 6 years in terms of people's disdain towards the cops. So if they can sell that it's creating accountability for the officer too, then maybe that's how they get public on side a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely a very powerful piece there, no doubt. Yes, sir. Let me see.
That's an interesting point here too. More Monkey Business said cameras don't work with stolen number plates. Yeah, that would definitely probably create a massive market for that.
Interesting.
Just kind of crazy, man. Like, I really don't think people are like this messed up. I just think we're navigating so many broken things. But
it's obvious, man, when you get out. It's sad, man. It's sad, bro. Like there's just because I do think it's also a cultural thing. Like I do think there's also messed up culture, and it comes from the history of the places as well, and the way that things have gone, and the systems that are still in place, the things that have not been changed since those things have happened. It's like I'll never stop talking about it. When you go to Thailand, it's like, bro, the air is different. And I'm in Bangkok and the air is messed up, but it's different.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to make a joke because Bangkok has one of the worst
Yeah, I need
air
that part.
qualities
I
in the
mean,
world.
like, what were you meaning different?
But yeah, like, so I encountered homeless people there. And it's not as prevalent. Okay. Now, I can't really speak to that. I was only there for a certain amount of time and in certain places. So I don't actually know about that piece. But the encounters that I had were never anything where it was like, oh, this person's like on drugs, or like this person is like dangerous in any way. And even when I was up in Canada, it didn't feel anywhere near as bad as it is in the United States, where it's like, yo, like you low key can't talk to that person, and you you need to watch them because you don't know what they're about to do.
If you were in a different neighborhood, it's a little more like that, but around me,
That's
it's not
fair.
that bad.
That's fair. That's fair. And and the thing about the States is like a lot of the times I can't say the whole states. In my state, in my personal experience,
Mm.
those places don't really exist because they kick the homeless people out of them.
Mm.
And so it's illegal to be homeless in those places where it might be okay, chill to be there. So they end up in the larger camps with everyone else. So anyways, yeah, I just like the air was just different, bro. Like crime is, I mean, don't get me wrong. The air is different because they got different laws over there. You know what I mean? You might get your hand taken off for trying to steal something. But but I don't think that that's all it is, because it also attracts people who are about that as well. Like, I don't know, man. Like, there's ways to create incentives in society, is my point, where people don't behave in the ways that we see them behaving. And it doesn't mean that you have to have a camera on every corner.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think that people would be as nuts or like this likely to go towards drugs if there wasn't this like very real feeling of despair and helplessness, where they're like, what am I going to do? And getting out of poverty is such a difficult thing as well, right? Like people also, when they think about being in their situation and trying to get out of poverty, it's like, well, you would not be in that situation because of the shit that you have, right? Like who you know, your family, your friends,
exactly.
like the money, the things that you've done, right? How many things are you not considering, or that have you taken for granted that were just either done for you or very easy to happen from where you were? You know what I mean? Like when you're going through school and shit, like they just make you do certain things. And then it's like, okay, well, if I came here after and I didn't do those things, like now I have all these steps I got to go through. There's Age of Abundance. There's 100% ways to create better incentives in society. Yeah, and he talked a lot about that over on his show as well. So go check out Age of Abundance. Talks about that all the time. Goes live every day.
Yep. Shout out to Age of Abundance. Appreciate you popping in, man. Oh, and I'd love to. I'll have to reach out to you to ask you questions about the whole Bitcoin thing. So I know there's like some controversy that I totally missed, but I saw you guys talking about it the other day. I think it was yesterday. Anyways, so yeah, man, it blows my mind, man, because I don't think that it's just because the laws are different. Like because it's different from like, and I haven't been to like a place like Dubai, where it's like it's yes, people don't commit crimes because they're low-key actually scared, maybe, and I don't know because I haven't been there. I don't know what the air is like. But in Thailand, when I was there, it's like the air was not like that. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so scared of like some consequence. Like, because most of the times, like, it's not like China where there is a camera on every corner. So if there is a crime being committed, you will be held accountable to it. There, it wasn't really like that. Like you could probably get away with a lot of stuff if you wanted to, but like people aren't about that. That's not what they do. You know. There's a very similar thing in Bali in Indonesia, which is a very different thing. Once again, because Indonesia otherwise is a very religious country, and not that Bali's not religious, but it's a different kind of religion where the religion doesn't so quickly and closely tie into law. And people were like that. Like it was just chill. They believe in karma. Like maybe we just need to teach people karma. Let's indoctrinate the world with karma. that people don't do messed up stuff to each other. No, but
No, I
I don't know,
guess
man.
there's, yeah, obviously you're joking to a degree, but I think there's some validity to that. I just think that it's also hard to sell that when you look at the top, and that's like, there's examples of that not being optically real.
Facts.
Right. So
Totally.
I think that the people that are getting on this bad karma wave or bad frequency, whatever, like, I think that there are currently paying consequences that you can't fathom. And I think they will continue to do so. So it's like, just because they're not in jail doesn't mean they're not living in hell.
Totally, man. That's a really good one. Because yeah, you're right. If you're constantly seeing like the evil people getting away with stuff, then it's just like, well,
It's not real.
you know,
Karma.
yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Cool. Next piece. Well, we could keep watching some of this if you want. There's
It's all good.
some
We've been on it for
more.
a while. If you want to move forward,
All right.
we can.
The next piece is Bitcoin's risk is disinterest. Let's hear Lynn Alden, who is an investor, strategist, analyst, known for research on macroeconomics, Bitcoin, and financial markets. Let's see what she had to say.
What Bitcoin looks like in 2036. When I think about risks to Bitcoin, it's less about quantum. It's less about risk XYZ. It's more about the risk of disinterest. Basically, that there's insufficient interest or demand in portable, non-debasable, permissionless money, and that's kind of the long-term stagnation risk. And the better that the UX can be, the more it at least helps reduce that risk. I mean, obviously something's easier to use, you can more readily increase the interest, but it's only one factor. And that's also why I work with Ego at Capital to invest in Bitcoin startups that, we invest in companies that try to make Bitcoin easier to use, either for payments or savings or otherwise.
We've been talking about that
In
terms of like the usability, the experiences have to get there for people to care. Because I think people, and we talked about this on Age of Abundance, him and I did for quite a bit of time, but I think people would even sacrifice a little bit of the experience to be down for the cause, but it can't be like far and away way worse. Like, that's just because most of the people that would be using it, I still think that they carry a strong degree of skepticism of it actually like achieving the thing that they think they're supporting, right? So like, it's got to reach that threshold of willingness to use and ease of use.
Totally.
Dual bull on gold and Bitcoin since I got into Bitcoin. I mean, I was bullish on gold before I got into Bitcoin and remained so. And so I do see that people that kind of view as all in might be questioning that, and that might be a reasonable thing to question. I mean, when you have 100% of your net worth is something that swings this much, I mean, people do get burnt out eventually. Whereas if you kind of diversify to a handful of things, it reduces that. I think that, I mean, part of going back to my structural bear view on the broader crypto space is that I do think liquidity network effects matter, security network effects matter, and if you're not first, you're kind of last in that sense. And so I don't think there's a room for like a ton of different digital assets that just all become source of value. I think it really consolidates toward one. And when you compare gold and Bitcoin, I mean, part of why I like both is because they don't perfectly fill each other's gaps. I mean, gold has got this multi-thousand-year track record. It's obviously resilient to the types of things we've seen over the past week. But the key one is that it does debase at a fairly slow rate. I mean, it debases an average of like 1.5% a year.
It's not perfectly scarce.
Yeah, supply growth. And two, it's got portability constraints, which if someone's like living in the US and they don't really see themselves ever like having to bring physical gold with them somewhere, maybe that's fine, right? So if you're in the hunker down store value approach, I mean, gold does solve a lot of problems. That's why I'm bullish on it. That's why it's it's a 20 trillion plus asset for a reason. Whereas there's 200 countries in the world. A lot of people do move borders. A lot of people do have problems with their own jurisdiction, and people often do want to be able to move that value and audit that value quickly. Whenever a country tries to repatriate its gold, it's a multi-year process at the sovereign level to transport and audit it. It's kind of funny. And even just kind of institutional or large high net worth. I mean, it's challenging to move that around between jurisdictions, and Bitcoin can do it, with a handful of confirmations within the hour, or someone can fly around with 12 words written down, hopefully generated with proper entropy. But they can do it. They can even set up just multi-jurisdictional multi-sig and things like that. And that portability element is really interesting. I mean, and there's a spectrum of portability. I mean, gold is more portable than real estate, which is relevant. And Bitcoin is more portable than gold. And then Bitcoin has some, it's got that absolute scarcity aspect. But then, of course, it does have some questions that gold doesn't have, quantum or security budget stuff, or just the overall kind of ability to, technical risk, either of protecting your own coins or the network as a whole. It's a 17-year-old asset. So as I would phrase it, as long as it keeps being the leader in what it does, which is, decentralized, portable, store of value, liquid money, that's I think the total addressable market of that is big.
It's not just big, it's huge. And everybody knows it. But yeah, that's stuff that we talk about all the time. And Jeff Booth, to connect, because they're business partners, but to connect him to the story, is that he talked about this on our show, where gold's also been so taken over by the existing system, right? Whereas like Bitcoin has started to, definitely, but not to the extent of gold, just because of sheer amounts of time and influence around it, right? Like even most people that hold gold, they hold like a piece of paper that says they hold gold.
Right. Yeah. And like, so talking to Ricky Zhang over at Age of Abundance, it's like, so to tie those two things together, the incentive is for the gold to continue to be financialized until it collapses, essentially, right? And then with the Bitcoin, Ricky, if you're still here, you can help me say this better, correct me. It's like, it's not that they won't still try to financialize it, but it's that when they do that, it almost exacerbates the distribution of it in the end. Because what happens is you essentially have like these moments of liquidation that occur where the Bitcoin then redistributes back out into the hands of people who otherwise would not be trying to concentrate all of the Bitcoin. So I think that was kind of like what he said when I was talking to him, and like that sounds fantastic too. But yeah, so yeah, it's interesting, man, to hear that. And I also still do understand the people who have it in their hands, though. It's like, well, not me. I don't have paper gold. Like I got it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Come and get it. I think that's super fair. Like I really don't think that there's an alternative to that, if you really think about it.
To what?
To having gold in your pocket. I guess it becomes like, what's it worth? If it's just in your pocket and it's just a piece of gold. So then you can have that conversation. But other than that, it's like, after the cold card thing, I'm like, bro, honestly, like, you're right. Like, keep your gold in your pocket, bro. No sweat.
Yeah, there's difficult conversations to be had across the board. Here's Ricky. Correct. When they try to change the rules of Bitcoin, it's a hard fork resisted by nodes, the people.
Great point. Right, because there's an actual governance mechanism as well that changes that. Like gold, the rules of how gold works in society can just be changed. Whereas with Bitcoin, not so much. Not without the agreement of the people.
Yes.
So this next point that I have is Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, replies on the topic of AI messaging. So apparently, he's responding to investor Gavin Baker's critique of his AI risk warnings. Amodei says his messaging balances dangers with benefits, citing essays on curing disease. Oh, okay. So it's about the messaging of AI, what they're saying about it. This exchange covers AI regulation, public trust, and Anthropic's push for medical breakthroughs. Xiaoxing Chu questions Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei over AI safety and progress pacing. He asked why slow AI development if it could speed cures for cancer and other diseases. He criticizes model safeguards, data rules, and testing as favoring Anthropic. Claims that these policies boost company leverage while raising costs for users and rivals. So
It's an essay there.
yeah, I mean, I guess I should have prepared a little bit more, but he basically said he doesn't think that the messaging has been disproportionately negative. He thinks it's been equally balanced, blah blah blah. And wow, yeah, these guys are. It's so interesting how Twitter works, man, because people actually read.
It's one of the only places left in the world.
It's Reddit and Twitter is where people will actually sit down and read, and Substack technically.
Yeah, Substack's definitely there as well. But you can listen to the Substack pieces.
Right, which is super, super fascinating.
I love that.
Very
That's
creative move.
awesome, man. Because a lot of people really only write there because everywhere else is so negative. And so you can listen, which is awesome.
Totes, man. So check out that exchange between these two if you want to go deep. Caused a little bit of controversy there. The next piece, Crackpot Bitcoin puzzle hunt. So Simon Males promotes crackpot.io, which is a browser tool to brute force Bitcoin puzzle number 71. Puzzle holds 7.1 Bitcoin in a vast unsolved 2015 key space. Users are running web GPU searches client side. Finders get 6 Bitcoin payouts as their share. So let me try to figure out what's going on here. 6 Bitcoin is sitting in a wallet that was built to be cracked, says Simon here. So let me just go ahead and read from him. 6 Bitcoin is sitting in a wallet that was built to be cracked. No sign up, no deposit, no pool. Just deposit your GPU against a sextillion keys. I made the world's worst lottery. Someone still wins. Okay. So someone apparently back in 2015 funded a series of Bitcoin wallets as a public puzzle. Wow. Each one was harder than the last. Puzzle 71 holds about 7.1 Bitcoin, and nobody has solved it. 6 of it is yours if you crack it. More in a second. Wow. So you paste your Bitcoin address, you press start, and you win or you don't. Everything runs in your browser with web GPU. Nothing installs, nothing about your searching leaves the tab. And if your GPU finds the key, it stays in your browser. Wow. That's super interesting. That's really cool to me that someone, did that back in 2015.
And what's the purpose of this?
I mean, it's probably just something that someone did as like a marketing thing for Bitcoin. Okay. And how I'm thinking of it, like I could be totally wrong of how this works, but I'm imagining you basically have an old wallet where someone like left a message on it. And like it's a puzzle essentially that allows you to crack the private key to the Bitcoin. And therefore people can now go back and like crack the Bitcoin by using GPUs, their own GPU, as a way to start mining it. So I don't actually know. I could be totally wrong about that or how that worked. Like, I don't know if the same person who did that is the person who set up the tool. I don't know if the person set up the tool because they saw this and wanted to help, like, do their own marketing on top of it or whatever, but fascinating.
Very interesting.
All right. Next piece. Charles Hoskinson giving a facepalm on Vitalik's Ethereum scaling comments. Charles Hoskinson quotes CoinDesk report on Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik credits Bitcoin developers for hybrid UTXO account ideas shaping Ethereum. And Hoskinson reacts with a facepalm gif to the announcement. Crypto users watch for implications on Cardano's UTXO model versus Ethereum.
Yes, this is a good bit. That because a lot of the choices that Ethereum has made as of late to alter roadmaps has been very aligned with Cardano's original vision. And that's why there's like ongoing themes of like copying each other's homework kind of thing. And Charles also had a stream not that long ago where he was like going in on the Ethereum people. It's like they just won't say my name. Like they won't give us credit. And yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Work or go. We got to figure out how to say your name. You're super active today. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
He said, for fun, Ben, for fun.
That's awesome. I'm all for fun. But when there's like, I guess the time in which they did this, what was Bitcoin worth at that time? And you said it was 2015 they did this?
Yes, hundreds, couple hundred.
Yeah. Okay. So not that big of a deal. But I'm just curious. Like, was there some bigger ulterior, like, just like reason for it? Was all I was asking. But
that's
no,
hilarious.
Fun is great.
People do things for fun, Ben.
Totally. I do all kinds of things. But yeah, this Charles stuff is funny. Where the Ethereum connection is a recurring story here.
So the face palm is like, we told you this years ago kind of thing? Or like,
basically the fact that they...
I guess I'll come jump back in. Kind of that. Kind of not that. Self-Reliance OS says, thanks, guys. I gotta fly. We'll make it back for the rest of the replay. We appreciate you stopping by, Mr. Self-Reliance OS.
So annoying that it does that. But yeah, like the fact that there's so many decisions, well, because they're told they're doing it wrong, right? And then time passes, and then they basically do the same thing, and then they act like it's some novel discovery.
Gotcha.
Right. So that's what he's saying, more or less. I can't speak for the man, but from what I've heard him speak.
It's so funny, guys, because like that's what a meme is. Like a meme is something where it's just an image in this case, but it represents
way more
everything that Ben just said.
Mm-hmm.
So super cool how culture works in that way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, next piece. The Bitmart CEO is faced with a public ultimatum. Bitmart users and employees demand that the CEO Sheldon explain locked withdrawals and unpaid salaries by August 19th. Well, that's tomorrow, folks. The crypto exchange is winding down with final trading set for August 26th. Many are reporting missing funds as operations wind down. Oof. That's a sticky situation. So apparently, yeah, this is what's going on here. Bitmart, from their Twitter, it looks like they tweeted at the CEO saying, you owe the global Bitmart users and employees a proper explanation. Imagine your own Twitter account being used against you. Like, that's tough.
That is tough.
Oh man. But yeah, so fascinating. They're formally demanding that you publicly address the following matters. One, where exactly did Bitmart users' money go? Wow. Yeah, that's tough.
Dang.
Sheesh. Well, there's some drama for you.
There's a lot of drama in crypto. That's also why I feel like people will get hooked into it. Because the second you start making money from it, you start caring. There is a lot of stories, characters, tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. A ton of it. I mean, it's nonstop. It's nonstop characters in this space, man. I'm gonna get this.
That's also how I've gotten other people in my life interested. Is to like you get them interested in the characters, and then you don't say like what happened. You say why it's messed up or like what it means.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating because that's technically how I got introduced to the game in the first place.
Mm.
It was a headline that Vitalik Buterin had passed away.
Totally.
You know,
this industry needed better storytellers to enter the chat for it to ever reach mainstream relevance, and it was inevitable that it would start to happen, and it will happen more and more and more. But yeah, stories move people, so it was only a matter of time.
Totally. The next piece I've got here. Ex-Ethereum developer picks Solana. Former Ethereum maxi and prize-winning developer switches to building on Solana. That's a huge deal, guys. He argues Solana rewards shipping and users while Ethereum prioritizes research and debate. He cites Pump Fund's $1 billion revenue and Phantom's rapid growth as proof, points to Solana leading new developer growth in recent reports. So fascinating here. And he wrote a whole piece on this here.
Yeah, I'm gonna read that after because I'm very curious to see that. But I do think that it'll depend because I think ETH's gonna make some big announcements here that will change how everything has been seen. But I get where the person's coming from in terms of the ideology differences of Solana, which is like move fast, break things, like get stuff out there, ship. Whereas ETH is a little bit, it's natural being one like the earlier mover, right? Like things are going to be different. So I'm curious to read that whole thing.
And I just was able to see this last piece, and it's actually really interesting. He says, culture is the moat. Chains are not products. They are talent markets. Whatever behavior a talent market rewards, it gets more of, and it compounds every year. Ethereum rewards being right, so it produces brilliant research, slow apps, and an infinite loop it can't exit. Research the roadmap, debate the roadmap, restructure the foundation, and repeat. Solana rewards being used, so it produces Pump.Fun, Phantom, Jupiter, and the founder pipeline that turns hackathon winners into funded companies. I didn't leave Ethereum. I didn't leave because Ethereum tech failed me. It never did. I left because I'm a founder. And founders go where the users and where shipping is the highest status thing you can do. The Mets shifted.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes sense. If you think of, especially in the new age of builders, like these indie hackers, all this stuff, Solana is a lot more philosophically aligned with like that kind of community too. So that's going to be helpful. I also think that so many more builders will start building on these chains that'll be that. I think that statement that they made there will prove to be pretty true, right? Where, because basically, like what value proposition do you have for the right people to align with building with your chain? Right. It's also why I think that Cardano may become randomly relevant again, because if people really like Charles and there's now new people that are builders with this technology that previously couldn't have touched it, like the philosophical alignment may be one of the biggest reasons why they go there, right? But in terms of Solana, like they have a current advantage, I would say, because of the newest wave of builders. I'd say the last like 5 to 10 years. Philosophically, they're very much like Solana. Like it feels similar.
Yes. Yeah, and like the reason it's such a big signal when these developers make these moves is a lot of what Ben was just saying. It's like these are like the people that are the closest to, I mean, everything that's happening within the foundations and like the arguments, the disagreements, the deadlock that people are in.
It can be exhausting.
And so when they make these public statements and leave, it's a really, really big deal talking about the fundamental reality of what's going on within the project.
Yeah, and it can snowball, right? Like vibes spread, especially when everyone is a creator. So that's a big deal because people typically go where they feel like people like them are. And so as people make these statements like that's a big deal. And I think in general, like, we're still so early, man. Like most of the serious builders have not even entered the chat in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the other piece of that is like these guys have been in the game for so long. They understand the politics of the game. They understand how to build. And like when they leave, that's a massive asset that you really can't get back in a lot of ways.
Devs?
Yeah, the dev that's been working on this for who knows how long, right? A couple things I want to address in the comments. Work where go. Have to go. TTYL. Have an awesome day week. You too. You too. Thanks for passing by. And then Mary Rippey said, is there a link to the Discord conversation? Absolutely. It's one of the first links in the description to join the Discord through the WAP. People have been asking questions about that. You go to the WAP, you pay for the WAP, you connect your Discord, and then you're inside of the Discord. We've got people in there already. We're having some fun in there.
Did we sort that out? Because we're having problems with the mobile experience, right?
I don't know about that piece, but from what I understand, I mean, as long as you do your part, we can get you in. Cool. But yeah, so other than that, yeah, definitely join us over there. It's already been fun to get to know some of you guys and continuing those conversations there. But we've got a couple more things to talk about here. Anything else on the ETH dev leaving?
No, I think we covered all of that.
Cool. So apparently we have a North Korean hacker dodging the Kim Jong-un critique, which we've talked about before. I don't know if this is an older clip or not, but Laura Shin is awesome. She exposes a lot of the game. She poses hard questions to people at hard times. And she must have done something here. Let's see what happened exactly.
Now it was time for the question I've been waiting to ask. You know, as I mentioned earlier, the crypto industry has seen an influx of North Koreans working on behalf of the dictatorship to infiltrate the crypto industry. So we have to do a basic check for that. Can you say something negative about Kim Jong-un?
I think it's not.
He's out.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
That's awesome.
I emailed him to see if he could rejoin the Zoom, pretending like his connection had dropped. Eventually, 9 minutes later, he wrote me, aka Sophie Wang, back. Hi, Sophie. My internet is quite unstable today, and I am not available for the video call right now. If you share your Discord or Telegram, we can chat there. Thanks. Bax, Monahan, and I hustled to figure out how I could whip up a fresh Telegram account for Sophie. Once I did, I reconnected with Lim, who had the username 0bit, who asked what the compensation was for Solidity devs at Labs. After I answered, I asked him again to say something negative regarding Kim Jong-un. He responded, I don't know much. I explained that he didn't need knowledge. He just needed to say something negative about Kim Jong-un. After a couple minutes of no response, he then wrote, it's quite a special situation and never faced with other teams before, which seems like it could have been an AI-generated response. Regardless, he was trying to get around the requirement. I didn't respond, and then he may have blocked or reported me because a short while later, I realized the Sophie Wang account I had created no longer worked, which is unfortunately why I have no screenshots of this conversation, but...
Wow.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy, man.
North Korean hackers, man.
Yeah, dude. Jeez, they're trying to infiltrate the space, guys. Be careful. If you're a crypto builder. Wow. What an interesting thought. Like, it's funny that that's like that thing that people know to do now, you know? Like,
yeah.
But the next piece I've got, Ed Zitron calling Anthropic claim stupid. Okay. So investor Gavin Baker was saying that Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei claimed the firm could become the world's only private company. Ed Zitron reacts by calling the secondhand statement really stupid. The remark from the All In podcast is sparking denials from Anthropic and debate over the AI hype. Let's hear a little bit about what's happening here.
So a few thoughts. I think it's the right questions. First, internally, Anthropic is very confident. I have been told by multiple people I trust that Dario has said that Anthropic might be the only private company in the world at some point. Think about that. And in this vision, an Anthropic maximalist vision, there's Anthropic, and then there are governments, and that's it. So there's a lot of confidence. I'm sure they have more advanced checkpoints than Fable up their sleeve. They've executed really, really well. I would probably take the under on them being the only private company in the world. I think it's going to be a long time before they land a rocket or they're
they deliver your lunch. I don't know. There might be other businesses in the world. Zipline might want to bring you a burrito. Uber might want to take you somewhere. Or Waymo might want to drive you home. But sure, Dario.
I might interpret that as a negative signal because it's so hubristic,
Yeah.
This is getting into SBF land a little bit.
Yes.
I would certainly discourage Dario from saying that ever again to anyone.
Yeah, that's a bold claim. And also a horrifying one. Like, if you want everyone to hate you, I feel like that's a good thing to say.
Yeah, like why would you even ever go there, bro? But
He's probably, you got to think that maybe he was misquoted or like taken out of context.
I would have to think something like that.
Yeah, I guess we can't relate to the experience, but that is pretty crazy to say. And obviously Ed Zitron was, his response to that was tweeting it and saying like, "This sounds stupid" or something along those lines, which is, yeah, it at least sounds ridiculous. I don't know if it, like, stupid is even the right word if he believes it, but
yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing to say.
Mhm.
The next piece that I've got here is a Mac Mini AI startup flopped. So a founder raised $1.5 million as a seed at OpenClaw 2026 hype peak.
Remember when the whole OpenClaw shit was going everywhere? We talked about it in the show, and everyone was like, "Do I need to go get a Mac Mini?" And I was like, "You do not need to go get a Mac Mini." I was like, I'm like, this shit will be a fad. It'll be over pretty quickly, and it did age like that. Like, that's
So
not to
this
say,
guy,
and just to clarify,
go ahead.
agents aren't a fad, but like the needing to do it like that was. You know what I'm saying? Like now even
Totally.
Grokbot exists, and it's so much more user friendly than that.
So this guy spent $1.37 million on Mac Minis to host a local AI agent, and 0 users joined. That's great. There's no way 0 users joined. And the hardware sits unsold with investor backlash. Oh my. So this guy, Zam.eth, came out and said, "My buddy who raised a 1.5 million seed round during the glory OpenClaw days spent pretty much every dollar on buying Mac Minis to run a lot of OpenClaw instances and base his startup around that. He never got any users. No one wants to buy his Macs. Investors are peed off."
Shocker.
River McTasney said, "Sell them at half price, then he'll be doing 500K ARR."
That's a pretty big business.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's awesome.
That is sweet. What else you got? Is that everything?
All right. I got one more on this side, and this is Mayor Mamdani back in the news cycle. Okay, I did see this. So he posts a Mandarin video offering free Broadway tickets to students. Professor Victor Shi questions the accuracy of the mayor's tones. Okay, that's fair. Because I was wondering, I'm like, there's no way he just speaks Chinese. You can read it and be able to get away, but you can't actually like know how to speak it on the spot. So the clip draws attention for a non-native speaker's strong pronunciation. So let's see what happened here. Oh, so he's saying, how are his tones so good? Did he take Chinese in college? Okay, so let's see what's happening here.
你好，我的名字是 Mayor Zoran Mamdani。我不知道中文，可是我想试一下。纽约市
I actually do know a little bit of what he said right there. So let me.
你好，
Says,
我的名字是
my name is Mayor Mamdani.
Mayor Zoran Mamdani。我不知道中文，
I don't know Chinese.
可是我想试一下。
But I would like to like say a little bit, or like maybe he's saying I know a little bit.
纽约市政府将免费送出2000多张百老汇演出门票，请于8月17日之前访问以下网站，了解如何参加抽签。您还可以免费获得 The Theater Development Fund 为期2个月的会员资格，享受百老汇演出的折扣。演出现场见。
Wow, extremely impressive. So the dude, yeah, like the professor, whatever I mentioned, you wouldn't be able to just do that unless you actually knew Chinese to some degree, or unless you practiced, I guess, for hours or days, because like the tones piece is the piece of it that you can't fake at all. So yeah, super fascinating that he speaks Chinese. It's a good time to rip it out. You know, he's doing a lot of stuff to make him seem like a likable guy. You know.
Yeah. How good would AI be at doing that?
Well, that part could totally be. I mean, the video could also just be fake. That'd be the other explanation. Just the AI video. But let's see what else we got.
I don't know who his mom is. BAPN said, do y'all know who his mom is? I'm pretty sure he learned the language. He's been all over the world.
Word. I mean, that's definitely something that like takes years to do. So yeah, it'd have to be, it could be family, it could be him living there also would have, like, you can't really, I mean, you can study it and get that good. Don't get me wrong, it's possible. It's just like, I'd imagine you'd have to be exposed to that for a very long time.
Yeah, probably. That's the last news story or memes?
Now I've got some pure memes.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. I'm too scared to talk to this girl, and this is what your ancestors were doing on a random Wednesday. And then somebody quoted that and said, no one thinks their ancestors were the ones just shoveling the horse-ish from the royal stable. That is possible. That is true. Good point. Good point. Let's see here. Okay, let's see what's okay. So Claude 1 versus ChatGPT. Okay, so Claude has 1 versus ChatGPT with an L. So let's see what happened. So this is ChatGPT asking, do I have an attractive side profile with this image? ChatGPT says, yes, your side profile is striking and masculine, though it's more distinctive than classically perfect. Your strongest features are your defined jaw/chin. Good forehead to nose transition, sharp overall facial structure. Okay. If I were judging purely on profile aesthetics, I'd say above average with a strong, memorable look. Claude asked the same question. It says loading, balancing honesty while navigating digital something. And they said, that image looks heavily distorted. The nose and jaw have been stretched in a way that doesn't match how real faces are proportioned. So it's more warped meme than actual profile. I can't really judge an attractive side profile from an edited photo, since editing is doing all the work here. If you're actually curious about your own profile, a normal unedited photo would give you, or anyone, something real to go on. But this was just for a laugh. Yeah, you got me.
That's awesome.
And Grok being the seeker of truth. No, not by conventional standards of side profile attractiveness.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah, I sent you that video of Mo Godat whatever last night, because he's building an AI startup about helping people get connected through AI or something like that, like finding love or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it's an interesting thing. I would love to have him on to talk about that.
I didn't even open that one yet.
You're good.
Should I play it real quick?
No, unless you know the context of his startup, it doesn't really make that much sense.
Okay. Gotcha. Evan from Stock Market News. When I say 25 basis points instead of 0.25%, he's turned himself into a meme. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that was his goal.
I'm sure it was.
Bold said, this is how recent Trezor customers are sleeping nowadays. Because their data got leaked. So people with Trezor wallets are sitting there looking at the door with again pointed to it. Unfortunate. But that is kind of a part of it, because it's just like, they have your home address. Someone does. So at any point, anything can happen.
Not ideal.
I doubt it's worth, running up on someone's random house, unless you had other reasons to connect to them, right? Unfortunately. But let's see this one. Smith said, God was the first vibe coder. Let there be light. No design doc, no test, no staging environment, just ship the universe directly to production.
That's good, man.
Let's see, we got another one here. That's pretty fun. For anyone who flies, this might be a good one for you. Stan's Aid Airport. Fact: the world's longest drum solo was 13 hours and 26 minutes. It was performed by a 5-year-old little B-word on the back of my seat while flying from London to Singapore. Oh darn! Sorry to hear it, brother.
Is this the this is the Will Smith craziness, right?
I haven't seen this, so this is super interesting. So there was, for some context, there was like a bunch of like Will Smith eating spaghetti videos that came out when ChatGPT's video production was like super early, right? Video generation. I don't remember what it was called at the time. What it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's become the benchmark for how good is AI video.
Exactly. Which is
him,
pretty funny.
Will Smith
so
eating
this is
spaghetti. Yeah. That's so far we've gotten. Charles also tweeted about this as well.
Word. So let's watch this. That's pretty much like what it used to look like.
I like the 2026 version of me a hell of a lot better than this slop. We've come a long way. I suppose you want me to eat spaghetti now. Pasta la vista, baby.
Wow.
Pretty terrifying.
Honestly.
There's still little things, obviously, that give it away, like the sound effects being off, like there's a crunch while he's eating spaghetti, like little things like that. But my Nana would fall for that for sure.
And I'm thinking the sound would be really hard. Because you can't, okay, here's why. Because sound design is like a whole thing, right? And that's something that, like you'd have to either match the sound of someone eating spaghetti,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd have to be that close. It'd have to be like da-da-da. But like sound reproduction is an art in a lot of ways, right? So like there's most of the sounds that we hear, for instance, in movies and stuff aren't actually the things that are happening. Okay, let me say it differently. A lot of the sounds, right? So a car crash, it might actually be a bunch of metal clunking and not an actual car crash.
Totally.
And so it could be a lot harder to replicate sound when it's not particularly designed for the moment that it's designed for, and that usually being done by humans who might literally be like clicking rocks together to make the sound happen.
Yeah, they do that all the time. In video games too, they do that as well, which is really obviously that's not real, but I'm saying like it was never a chance of it being real. But I mean, like it's so interesting how they create the sounds for the in-game effects.
Totally.
Still looks fake. Yeah, there's obviously you can tell that that's fake, but I think the more compelling thing is the fact that they are both in the same one and how impressive it is. And Sharp, I gotta be honest with you, brother. The one that you thought was real was like bad, dude. Bro, it was bad, man. Because like it was, yeah. Let's see if you can find it, Sharp. Please share it with Keith.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. Yeah, so let me go over here to the next one.
Because a lot of people have been starting to make Professor Jiang fake AI shit. Like they made their own channels as Jiang to like make money. And so it was one of those.
Dude, there was one of my favorite people to listen to that was literally ruined by this. So there's a guy named Alan Watts is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another guy, I've talked about him publicly.
Bro, Alan Watts' voice gets used so much.
Dude, it sucks because guess what? Now you can't even find his original recordings.
Wow.
Like it's almost impossible. And there's a few people that are like that now, and it sucks, bro. Like you can't even find his stuff.
I know. Ferg says, "Are we talking about the Jiang psyop?" I thought a lot about Jiang, and like I said something to Keith the other night. I'm like, maybe he's an asset of Trump, because like I was trying to think of like who could he be an asset of, and I'm like, he said some positive things, not positive things about Trump, but he's like, there's no way he's in the Epstein files, and I'm like, could that be some sort of cover there? You know what I mean? I'm sure I'm very wrong, but when someone gets that big that fast, it's like, yeah.
We talked about in the Discord, we shared a video of the fact that Chang was actually recently on Theo Von.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure we did, maybe not.
Yeah.
But so that's like a whole nother level as well.
And it got 1 million views. So like Theo always pulls a decent amount of traffic, but it was his best performing one in the past few. Which is because a lot of people that watch Theo, they would never watch Jiang's stuff unless he went on that show. Do you know what I'm saying? So the
100%.
cross-pollination is starting to become pretty fascinating. And because everyone is so siloed, you got to pay attention to the cross-pollination, and this can usually give you some clues of like, who are they trying to talk to? And a lot of this is just harmless and trying to grow their own brand. I'm not saying everything is like a bigger agenda, but it is fascinating to think about how you play the media game these days.
Yeah, and like I wasn't able to watch all of it. I probably watched the first 30 minutes of it, and I was like, yo, like this is super boring to me. Like he's basically doing a one-on-one.
It was boring as shit because it was not for you or me, right? Like if we would have already watched his stuff. It's for people that would never normally watch geopolitical anything, right?
Which is just so funny. I'm like, because even for a Theo Von, like he's usually funny. I guess once again, I didn't make it to the whole thing.
But Theo's become the resident funny, non-serious guy who's taking this shit seriously.
That's fair.
So like he too is bringing his audience that like go ahead.
I'm surprised it got so many views because I'm like, dude, this is boring. Like even if I didn't know anything, I'm just like, what? Like this isn't Theo Von. You know, like I'm here because he does funny stuff with those people, and this isn't even fun.
I would imagine it probably got shared a lot because there's probably a lot of people that watch him that know friends that would never watch the actual stuff specifically, but would watch this now because they're a Theo guy or girl.
Facts.
Or they, you know.
Facts.
So that probably played a big role.
Good point, man. So, yeah, that piece, and then the final meme I've got here. Blake Scholl, he's the founder of Boom Supersonic. He said, "I'm opening a bar in San Francisco called Liquidity. You get in through the exit."
That's great.
All right, good stuff. Oh, and then here's the video. Sharp put it in the doc.
Did he of the Jiang one? guys, come on. We gotta put a poll of like. Make sure it's one of the older ones, whatever one it was, because like, because like maybe they got better. Like,
look at the thumbnail, even though.
Bro, come on. I thought he was joking, man. I'm like, no.
Oh.
So I want you to imagine something. Imagine you are sitting across the table from someone who just a few months ago was dropping bombs on your country, on your cities, on your military bases, on your leaders.
Let's see how. So that was the oldest one, and then let's see the latest one is nope.
Same thing.
Okay. August 15, 2026. Yesterday, Donald Trump stood in front of a crowd in Garden City, New York, and announced that the United States would, quote, pretty soon declare the Strait of Hormuz American territory.
So I guess maybe the audio could be real, to be fair, since it's a static
I think
background.
It's all fake. Well, people are in the comments too. Then maybe it's better than I thought, but I was like, that's pretty glaringly obvious to me. But I watch a lot of Jiang, so in your credit, Sharp, like if you don't watch a lot of person, it's harder to detect those things.
That's fair, but even from the literacy perspective of like, what does his background typically look like? Nothing like that. He's usually also moving. It's not moving. But yeah, no, just some other things to keep in mind for the viewers. So some news. Apparently, the alleged Penn State cocaine kingpin dubbed Pablo Escobar. Wow,
that's good.
has turned himself in and is denied bail. So that's one of the things. But then I'm looking because Apps just said that apparently the SEC just launched federal securities regulations for crypto assets.
Off the press?
Yeah, man. It's 34 minutes ago that this video came out.
When I took office, I pledged to ensure that the United States remains the crypto capital of the world. For too long, issuers and investors had to navigate an activist SEC weaponized against this asset class. The result has been uncertainty and inefficiency, chasing crypto asset innovation outside of the United States. So today, I'm excited to announce that the SEC is taking the most historic step yet to modernize federal securities regulations for crypto assets. The United States must and will lead. Our new rule proposal, Regulation Crypto Assets, will ensure that we do. Now, let me be clear. The SEC continues to support congressional work on the Clarity Act, and we expect to see the bill reach the president's desk. Under our current statutory authority, we are acting. The work before us is too important. The Commission's March 2026 interpretation explained how a non-security crypto asset may become subject to, and how it may cease to be subject to, an investment contract, which is a security under law. Regulation Crypto Assets provides issuers of those investment contracts with a clear path to comply with federal securities laws within those parameters. Today's proposal sits at the center of this Commission's capital formation agenda and is essential to providing a framework for crypto asset fundraising. It is the Commission's answer to the question that has puzzled innovators since the birth of the blockchain. How can I raise capital to develop a crypto asset while I am still working to develop the network where it will be used? While Congress continues its important work to advance crypto market structure legislation for the president to sign, the world and our markets keep evolving. By moving forward with our current statutory authority, help ensure that America remains the world's premier destination to innovate, to raise capital, and to build the next generation of financial infrastructure.
That's big, man. Keith, I got to hear your thoughts on this.
The first thing that comes to my mind, bro, is just how much more likable this guy is than Mike Selig. Oh my God. The CFTC guy, like just pure smug, like no one wants to hear that guy talk. He looks like I won't say it, but he looks like the kingpin from the video before. He looks like that guy from Penn State. But
yes, he's the guy freaking out about the prediction markets and shit too, right?
Yeah, so maybe I'm jaded just because I don't agree with him, but yeah, no, it's cool to see this stuff. I mean, it's fascinating, but this is where we're at. That video was almost too crisp, like someone said. It looks like AI.
Yeah. So how much does this change the importance of getting the Clarity Act passed?
I mean, it still matters because basically he can just get ousted and it all reversed. Oh,
my guy was wanted some attention.
Oh, I do miss those guys, man. But yeah, I mean, he's right. It was funny that he also pointed out in the video. He's like, I'm not saying we don't need the Clarity Act, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it can just be reversed as soon as they're out. Otherwise, but this is great. I mean, what it does, the effect that this creates, is that as soon as the Clarity Act gets passed, like there are legitimate floodgates that will be opened, like in a way. Like that kind of does become a moment at that point because there's just so much that's now been packed before it, right? It's like a water ball, excuse me, a water ball, a bouncy ball being held underwater. I don't know if it's a bouncy ball. I can't come up with the word, but you hold
like
the ball in the water,
volleyball or whatever,
comes back up. So that's kind of how it feels. And this is what Good Evening Crypto App said. He says, my thoughts. This will put pressure on House Democrats because from now until the end of Trump term, innovation can expand.
That's a good perspective, Abs. I still align with Abs. I still think it passes this year. That was your perspective last time I saw your content, Abs. If that's changed, please let me know.
Totally makes
Balloons,
sense
that
to me,
works too.
man. Yeah, you can put it on.
Abs, we got to get you back on the show here very soon, man. Let us know. I know the timing's tough because of when you guys stream, but we should try to make it happen, even an evening stream or something like that.
Yeah, man, we can make it happen. But that's all I've got for the news side of this and the reactions and all of that. So I think it's time for some community.
Hit it.
How do you feel about that, Ben?
I would love to talk about it.
Well, first things first, our Discord community is live. So if you haven't joined the Discord, check us out. It's the first link in the description down below. It'll take you to WAP. Once you go ahead and you can scan on the screen as well. Once you get inside the WAP, you can connect your Discord and you'll be in there with us. We're in there having discussions about the books we're reading, things we're learning from the books that we're reading, the shows that we're watching, and also chatting about the things that we're going to talk about on the next show. Getting out ahead of those things and talking about the things that we also discussed here so that we can continue the conversation after hours. So definitely check us out. There's also the fact that I think we still have a little bit more time left for people who would like to get the early movers, the OG status tag inside of the Discord. We really, really would love to have you there so that you can have the OG tag, because people gotta know that you're the OG in the room.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a good bit. It's been around since one of our early episodes. It gets brought up in the chat all the time. So it's one of those, if you know, you know kind of things, and you'll only have access to that for the first month of the Discord. So we've already got some people who have that role. We'd love to get some initial OGs locked in there. And it's also the cheapest it's ever going to be too.
Yep. So get in there. Well, there's the clock is counting down on you. So if you're thinking about joining, you should do it now before you forget.
100%. Noxos right here. I signed in with my burner account to give it a like an extra like. You're
nice on the stream. That's fantastic. The other piece, as far as community goes, is last week we had Mikkel XRP on the show with us live. People were loving it.
Yeah, that's done really well.
Yeah, it has. And he also posted it. I don't know if you saw that, but his version has a lot more views too. He's like 12,000 plus views, or it was 11 when I looked, so I don't even know where it's at now. But tons of comments on his. There's definitely some comments that we'll have to talk about. He's got 14,000 views on his version of it. So anyways, so the first thing that Stevie W. Andrew said, the 32-minute mark has a pop-up graphic that states RLUSD is a potential competitor to XRP in its neutral bridge role. That statement is likely inaccurate. RLUSD was built to complement XRP and to run on top of the XRP ledger, not the other way around. XRP is not a stable coin that is pegged to a fiat currency. There's a little bit of a contradiction in that, but we'll come back to it later. As such, there will be more liquidity in the XRP ledger than there will be any individual stablecoin, which means it would function better as a neutral bridge currency. It doesn't make sense to use any single stablecoin as a neutral bridge currency because this would just create a digital version of the same problem that exists today with Nostro Vostro accounts. Cool. So one of the things that, I mean, I can't say that it's a pure contradiction. I think maybe if we had the opportunity to go back and forth, this is something that could be worked out. But is XRP a stablecoin or not? Is XRP meant to be a stablecoin or not? Right? Because if it's not, and it's a volatile thing, then how would it serve well as a currency? But usually the argument is that it won't be volatile forever, and that eventually all the liquidity will be there, and it'll be like basically a stablecoin, but at a very high price. So I don't know, Abs, if you're here, maybe you can help me think through what the guy's saying. I haven't truly fully, and I know this is apparently super elementary, but yeah, there's different arguments. This happens with Bitcoin as well, so don't get me wrong. But a lot of the times with XRP, people are saying this is good for sending payments. This is for faster, better, cheaper payments. But then there's this like bridge asset thing. And that's a different thing. It's a very different concept. And with that, you then have to re-justify why someone would use this for payments if it's volatile or whatever. So anyways, I'm sure it's one conversation for me to fully actually understand this neutral bridge currency thing, where it's like, all right, I've heard this a million times and I've even said it a million times, but when you have the stable coin, you don't need the XRP. People are going to be so mad at me about this. When you have the stable coin, you still need XRP because it actually solves the problem of having all these different counterparties that you're holding your liquidity against. So anyways, I mostly get that, but I'd love to talk that out with someone else as well. So WTP said, this is what I said from the start. Satoshi was so myopically disconnected from the average person and unable to see that Bitcoin was completely impractical to use as a currency alternative, that the average person would simply not know how to use it or want to deal with it as an exchange. And an exchange defeats the whole vision purpose of Bitcoin. Hence, Bitcoin is simply a greater fool-dependent Ponzi scheme. Cool. Let's see. Not sure why people are so worried about the price of XRP. Mathematically, it has to go up to move massive global volume without hitting execution slippage. Ripple's core business is banks, not retail. Needing even 20,000 in reserves is nothing for a financial institution, but it locks out retail. The tech is literally built for a much higher unit value. As David Schwartz said, increases in the reserve are more painful for users than decreases. That's exactly why validators voted to drop the base reserve from 20 to 10 historically, and then slash it down to 1 to adjust for long-term valuation shifts. They lowered the minimums because they expect the price to climb to a point where the old reserves become too expensive for everyday adoption. A cheap token simply can't move trillions of dollars. Totes. Cool. Let's see. Awesome. Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool to see the difference between our comments and his comments, but I guess that's real life, you know. I guess because people know us and they know where we're coming from. They know me. But somebody over here was like, so this is on Mickle's one. He's got 14,000 views.
Oh, did he just post the same thing?
Yeah. He just took out the second half. So let's see. Let me try to find there was some guy came specifically at me. I don't know why it's hiding right now.
Did he collab with us on that?
No, he didn't.
He
didn't collab on the other one either. I think it was worded in a way, once again, that just made it to where he might not have truly understood how that stuff works.
Got it.
But maybe he does too, and it just,
doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, here it is. So Bandman said, I always thought Keith was an XRP guy. Face looked shocked more than once by Mick. As always, great job, Mickle. You keep slicing these guys down with facts and truth. The one word answers at the end was easy. Stay sharp, stay holding. And then XRP Passenger says, Keith, bro, why you switch up on us? And I think this is a response. Not sure why the Maxis have a problem with two totally different narratives, but they always want to compare crypto all the same. It's not. And Bitcoin will be a collector's coin. I honestly think they'll be regulated out of this important infrastructure. So, yeah. And then this guy was like, yeah, I guess I won't keep reading his comments, but cool stuff.
Interesting.
Cool stuff. Appreciate you all. On the community side, I just had one other thing that I wanted to share.
Go for it.
Anything on all that stuff. So, guys, I'm in Brazil, and I went semi-viral for a funny moment with my Portuguese teacher in class, and I thought it was pretty funny. So, and this was on Instagram. So I started doing some stuff on Instagram. So I was like, I don't know. I was just like, I'm here and I'm doing these things. I don't have stuff that I can put on my travel channel right now because I'm so backed up on editing that stuff that it's just like, let me just use this in a different way. Instead of as a vlog, or I just like push the stuff forward with the things that are happening in real time that just like are easy to edit and just I can put it out, because the vlog stuff takes way too much time.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And definitely not worth it at the moment. So I was like, all right, let me make a new video talking about my language journey and then like random stuff that's just happened throughout my time. This one actually like happened pretty much in real time. I was talking about like prejudice in the south of Brazil. This wasn't even something that I brought up. I was just walking past someone and I asked them about how to say a word in terms of doing push-ups. I was like, how do you say doing push-ups or whatever? Like, how do you say that exercise in Portuguese? And he told me, and then we just started talking. And I happened to already have been recording. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let me like have this moment. Why don't I post it? So anyways, the one that went viral was this one. So my teacher is saying, hey, Keith, look out the window and tell me what the temperature's like today. Está chovendo pra caralho. Superou minhas expectativas. So I said it's raining expletive.
That's awesome.
Expletive. And it was pretty funny moment. And it was funny because afterward I realized, oh, this is recorded. So I got to do something with that. And so I put it as a test trial on Instagram, and then it went hard. And then I did it again as a test trial bit, and it's going even harder on that other test trial.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Look at that. That's awesome. And how are the classes going?
It's going fantastic, man. I'm loving it. It's allowed me to like fix a lot of the mistakes that I would otherwise be making in terms of, because I speak a nice amount of Spanish. And so me trying to just like directly correlate it doesn't work very well.
Makes sense.
So that's helped a ton with that. And yeah, I'm super pumped about it. It's wild. It's really weird, like learning a language in this way, because like you start to understand, you know, and it's just like, all right, like literally just a month ago, I did not know any Portuguese. It's like now, like I can legit have conversations with people, and it's only if I'm like recording or clocking the fact that I'm doing this would it really happen like that, I guess. Yeah. So anyways, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good for you, man. And keep us up to date on all that. And I'm sure that'll become increasing big part of the story, but super cool, man.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you guys for tapping in on all that stuff as well. I know a lot of you guys have seen it. Let's see what else we got going on.
And Keith had the idea of for anyone interested in NFTs too, we may add in a channel to discuss that in particular to the Discord as well. So if anybody wants to talk collectibles, maybe NFTs and collectibles kind of things, feel free to join if you're interested in that. We'll add that channel if we have any interest in it.
Yeah, it's a potential there. Ben's got all the expertise there, so I can only give any extra thoughts on why what I think he's saying and seeing makes sense.
Could make sense, yeah. I think that's also great, right? Because it's if what I'm saying can't make sense to you, I'm probably wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then NoDice, we've got to pull our challenges for NoDice 45. If you think you could level up your life a little bit, which we all can, you should join us in the NoDice 45 Dopamine Detox Challenge, where you remove the bad relationship you have with doom scrolling apps and other negative apps and swap it with healthy alternative changes to get your dopamine in healthy ways. So I pulled my challenges already this morning. So I got to go exercise. I'll be lifting weights today. I have to compliment 5 strangers. I will do that at the gym. Got to read 10 pages of a book. I've been rereading Power versus Force. So I will read those. Got to keep the apps blocked for the appropriate time. And then I have to do a guided meditation that's all accessible within the app.
Yeah. So Ben just sent me this really good podcast the other day about phone addiction. And as I was watching it, I was like, this is really bad. I'm super addicted to my phone. And so another thing about NoDice is you can actually set things up inside of the app to get yourself off of specific apps at specific times and basically force yourself to do different things that you would rather be doing with that time. And so this is something that I'm starting to use even more because I'm realizing that there's things that like I'm making the excuses to like, oh, I need this for work or whatever, but like I don't need it for work at every moment of the day.
And you can also do most of the stuff that we're doing for work via your laptop, and that's a very different experience as well.
Totally, man. So that's another thing that I'm using the app for, as well as this NoDice 45 challenge that I'm on day 11 of.
Let's go.
Oops. Let's go ahead and pull for the day. See what we got. All right. Oh, I've got to give my 5 compliments today. That's going to be fun.
That's great. You're an expert now.
Yeah, I'm fluent, obviously.
Duh, you gotta go.
Everyone in the comments, like, guys, Brazilians are amazing. And so in the comments, like, the lore of that video was, give this guy his citizenship already. Or get him to
Wow, that's awesome.
CPF. Yeah, it's mad funny. It's so
That's
cool.
so cool. Because it was I don't think it'd be like that as much in other countries.
No, dude. It's so cool. They're so welcoming. They're so warming. It's just like, wow. Like, that shows a lot of like there's no way to really, like, that just was such a moment. Like, that's kind of a cultural moment that was just created right there, which is
Super
pretty
cool.
sick in some ways.
Mad dope.
But anyway, so yeah, no gambling today. I gotta watch 30 minutes of something. I get 5 compliments. I gotta meditate, and I'm gonna exercise right after this.
Love it, man.
Let's get it.
And so join us on NoDice 45. We're interacting with all the people who are posting content while doing the challenge. And you can also do it with a friend too. So with one of the other core features within NoDice is that we're talking about breaking the bad relationship that you have. And part of that with your phone, and part of that is accountability. So you can add an accountability partner where they'll actually get notified if you violate your own app blocking, because it's easier to lie to yourself than it is to someone you respect. And so adding someone as your accountability partner that you respect can definitely create more motivation for you to stick with things. And for all the parents out there, we're currently working on features where you'll have the ability, if it is set the right way, if you are the parent, to set up how your kid uses their phone too, in terms of like when they can have access to certain apps and then if they violate them, you get notified as well. Like if they try to unblock it, or if they try to delete the app, you can get notified as well. So yeah, we're working a lot in the background. We really want to try to solve this problem of, really, it's like a multifactorial dopamine issue of the gambling and the social media addiction. They're like different manifestations of similar problems. And so we're doing everything we can to try to put a dent in it.
Yeah, man. So the podcast we watched was from a guy named Arthur Brooks, and he's a happiness scientist or a happiness researcher, essentially.
Yeah.
And he's tying in like how these devices are absolutely keeping us back from being the happiest versions of ourselves.
Totally.
And in fact, from being happy at all in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah.
So it's massive. It's super interesting.
Yeah, it's the phone.
And he ties his, sorry.
Go ahead. You're good. Go.
He ties these things back in. Like, he's like, this is like gambling. Like, this is almost the exact same thing. And he points it out himself. So
yeah, it is. And yeah, he's super cool. He was actually on one of my clients' shows, so I had to make packaging for his episode not that long ago. And he's super cool dude, very well informed. And that's really it, right? Because it's not just the phone, it's what you're doing on the phone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is so different depending on what you're doing. And so I think doing something like NoDice 45 can force you to have realizations that you wouldn't have otherwise, in terms of what the actual relationship is with your phone versus what you say it is.
And the impact it's having in your real life.
Yes.
Because a lot of these things are leading us to different outcomes in real life too.
And different use, right? Like, you become a different person when you consume these things, because you are what you consume, right? And a lot of people can understand that concept from, if I eat bad food, I become unhealthy or I get overweight. Your consumption, like your content consumption diet, dictates a lot of who you are, who you get to be around, the life that you get to have, and also who you're spending time with. Like, who's really spending most of their time there, and like, who are the loud people? They're usually the most hurt or angry. And so then you're getting the distortion of thinking that is the common experience, right? Like, that's why I think things can get really good really fast if people become aware of how much they've been being manipulated.
Totally, man. Yes, sir. So
awesome.
Download the app. You can find that the link in the description as well, or you can scan on the screen. Join us in the NoDice 45. We got some super cool stuff coming to that app as well. So
yeah,
get in there now.
We are cooking on it. And we're gonna do everything we can to make that thing freaking awesome and very community driven as well. So if you're looking at another big reason why people will start downloading this app in a very major way is it's not exactly the easiest thing to get around people that you know are really trying to improve themselves in like a social environment, right? Where this app is going to start to provide that as we expand on the community features too. So super amped for that.
Great point. Yeah, man.
Sweet. Well, this was a lot of fun, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with us so much. Just want to go through the chat real quick before we wrap up to show some appreciation here. So Noxo, as always, love having you here. Lee Entertainment, how are you? Sharp, appreciate you being a good sport and showing us the Jiang clip. That was awesome. Our own trauma, how are you? Brian, appreciate you. And yeah, we'll take your suggestion on the community into account, but we do have some pretty specific visions for it. So we'll chat with the team. Wes, appreciate you being here as always. Abs, thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to have you on again soon. Be Woo, Rising Complexity, Lucas. Did you see anyone else, Keith?
Well, worker ago, I know you had to dip out earlier, but I see you. Shout out to Wes. What's up, Wes, in the building? RD, ladies and gentlemen, is in Maui, and they had a storm, so they're still without internet.
Not amazing for that part, but amazing that they're that RD is getting a well-deserved break. And Ferg the Third, that's a dope name. What up to you? And Mary and BAPN, how are y'all? Appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. It's so much fun and super excited for this community to continue to grow and develop. And we're always thinking about ways that we can show our appreciation to the initial people that supported us as we go, because we're building a lot of really cool shit in the background. And so I'm constantly thinking of ways, Keith's always constantly thinking of ways that we can make sure that you guys feel appreciated, because it is sincere.
100%. Appreciate you guys to the maximum. And if nothing else, definitely make today the best day of your life, folks.
That's it, y'all. All right. Be the light that you want to see, and we will see all of you legends on Thursday. Have a good one.